Total Drama Island. Na 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 na. I wanna be. Okay, okay, we're not gonna do that throughout the whole thing, but yeah, this was certainly an venture, to say the least.
It sure was.
Okay, okay, so for people who are just okay, I apologize if my throat sounds a little bit wonky. It's because I had a bit of a sore throat over the past couple of days, but hopefully we can get through this, no problem. And yes, we'll be doing this for the whole franchise. So from here until potentially the reboot.
Yeah. Yeah, right now the plan is to do the entire series minus the baby show. We are not doing the baby show. Do not.
Oh, come on, Tyler. You know you want to do it.
We are not doing the baby show.
No, we're not going to do it, but I was like, I said that I would do that joke. Like, oh, come on, you know you want to do it.
So, a bit of a history lesson. So Total Drama started life as Camp TV, and a pilot was released for it back around the early 2000s. I believe around 2000. Actually, I believe around 2005. A pilot was made for it. It originally aired in Canada on the channel Teletoon in 2007, then coming to Cartoon Network in America in 2008. And for those wondering, we primarily watched the Canadian version that was aired on Teletoon, mainly because A, I think it's the best way to watch it, and B, some of the censorship done by Cartoon Network and by extension Netflix in some cases just made no sense.
Yeah, the only censorship that I feel like did make sense, which made it even more funny, was when Lindsay was just cursing out Heather, because like for Lindsay, it was like kind of like the dumb, the stereotypical dumb blonde of the series. For her to just like spew all that out, it's just but make it censored. I feel like just makes it even more hilarious.
Actually, that was in the original Canadian version.
Oh, was it?
It was the censor. The bleep was actually dubbed over to be no good, selfish, horrible, mean, bossy, bully of a girl type. Something. That was just a paraphrase of it, but yeah, it was actually dubbed over. I believe in the Netflix release, and like in some countries.
Okay, all right. So yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I was just about to say, because I remember it being, because I actually watched this as a kid back in 2008, 2009, and I remember there being a long.
Okay, so it's kind of like when South Park did their 201 episode, and they beep out the speech at the end, but it turns out it's not like a hate-filled speech, and that's the whole joke of it. Yeah. So anyway, as you can tell from the title that I made for this, a noob and veteran retrospective. I am the noob of this. I did not know about this franchise until Tyler mentioned it. And I've got to say, watching this for the first time as an adult, because I did not have Cartoon Network back in the day. I know it was a very depressing time in the Lasher Luke household not to have Cartoon Network. Yeah, it's truly a depressing time. I think Chris must have made that happen. So I never saw this as a kid. So watching it now, I can say, like I said, it was very interesting to say the least. Like a animated reality show, but turned up to the nth degree. It was kind of like, okay, for those of you in Britain, even though who have not seen this series and want basically a description of it, it's basically like if you talk. Are you familiar with the I'm a Celebrity franchise, Tyler?
No.
Okay, so to give you a context, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. It's basically take a bunch of quote unquote celebrities, and you put them all in the Australian jungle, where they have to do like what are called bush tucker trials, which are basically like things like you've got to eat a possum's anus to gain stars, which gives you food for the camp. So it's kind of it's kind of like in a style of that concept, but take it to a almost Jigsaw from Saw level degrees of psychotic.
God damn!
What?
That's fucking brutal. Like eating a possum's anus.
Yeah, because I remember I only know about them doing that because Colin Baker, who plays the Sixth Doctor in Doctor Who, he was on one of the seasons, and he says in like a parody of Doctor Who, where all the old doctors that are still alive are trying to get into the 50th anniversary, he says, "Oh, I'll call Tom Baker. I've eaten possum's anus live on TV, so how hard can it be?" So that's how I knew about that concept. So yeah, the
Wow.
Doctor from Doctor Who ate possum's anus live on TV. But no, that's that's basically the idea for people who have no concept for this series. It's basically like if you talk I'm a Celebrity to Get Me Out of Here and the Saw franchise and just smush it together.
Yeah, the show takes a lot of cues from the American reality TV show Survivor, except instead of it being full-grown adults stranded on an island in the middle of who knows where, it's sorry. It's just a bunch of teenagers left in a crummy summer camp.
And crummy is an understatement for this, because if I was in that situation, I wouldn't be like a character like Owen, who's just like, "I'm excited to be here, Chris." And I can't do a good Owen impression. I'd be more like Duncan, who'd be like, "Oh, why do I have to be here?" It's like, I'm curious, like, how did Chris even recruit these people?
That's a good question. Because in the first episode, he actually said that he kind of lied a bit on the application form by saying that they were going to stay at some big fancy resort.
Okay, so for someone like Lindsay, I can understand falling for that, but for someone like Gwen, I'd be like being like, I want to see a picture of this fancy resort, and I want to see something before getting into this.
I'm convinced that he probably just pulled a picture off of like Google Images, pasted it in there. And like,
you know what?
Totally legit.
You know what? For Chris, I can believe that. Which, by the way, if you're gonna know me about this series, all you're gonna know is 2 words: fuck Chris. Like, yeah. I understand he's not meant to be liked. I get that, but that just further emphasized my hatred for that character.
All right. Yeah. But speaking of the first episode, time for a bit of similar to how our Power Rangers videos go. We'll break down the episodes one by one, obviously chronological order. We're not going to start with the end.
Oh, okay.
Freaking
no.
And the person who was eliminated will give a brief blurb on that. So, episode 1, obviously, we get introduced to all the characters. We meet Beth, who is like, if you watch a movie in the 2000s, they're like the girl that everyone makes fun of for being ugly, roll into one giant stereotype. Girl wears a side ponytail.
Well, I will say this: they're all pretty they're all pretty exaggerations of one stereotype.
Yeah. Then we got DJ, the lovable giant, who is a wholesome cinnamon roll and deserves to be protected.
Yes, 100%. Yes, I will agree with that. Okay, I'm gonna say it right now. Gwen, I will say, is my favorite character overall, just because of how she just talks in every situation. It's just like very much like, I feel you, Gwen. I feel your pain. But DJ, how can you not love a guy who loves all animals?
Exactly. Dude's an animal lover, which that'll come into play more when we get to season 3. We also do meet Gwen the goth girl, whose first reaction to this is to rip up her contract until Chris reveals that they have copies.
Which, when I saw that, I was like, thank you. Someone see this crappy situation be like, wait, you lied to us?
I mean, DJ was also like that too, except DJ's more like, this doesn't look like how it did on the application.
Yeah, but Gwen was the most realistic out of all of them. With just like, I'm ripping up this contract. I think if Chris didn't have any of the copies, she would have just been like, I'm back on the boat.
Except the boat left as soon as she was dropped off, which then leads into us meeting the party dude, Jeff, whose name is spelled with a G.
Well, to be fair, a lot of people have their names spelled like that are called Jeff, Geoff, because it's meant to be like short for Jeffrey or Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeffrey. Yeah.
Yeah, Jeffrey. Because I knew people named Jeffrey or Jeff, and their names were always spelled with a J, which kind of a weird. Which, as a kid, that completely threw me off.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like I'm just trying to. It's kind of like with the name Claire, how that can be spelled Clare, and then some have it with an I.
Yeah, fair enough. Then we get Lindsay, the ditzy blonde.
Which I've got a question. I've got to get this off my bat right away with Lindsay. Okay, why is her chest bigger than her actual body? Like, wouldn't she just fall down on the back?
All I can say to that, it's a fucking cartoon. Don't question it. Speaking of not questioning, we then meet Heather, the queen bee.
Heather.
Yeah, we'll get to her. Then we meet Duncan, the delinquent.
Oh, sorry. What I was going to say with Duncan is that I love how throughout the series he tries to make himself out to be a villain, but he is awful as a villain in a good way. I will say that.
Yeah, like something tells me that something obviously something deep down in him is he tries to be good, but is worried that people might think he's weak, so he tries to come off as a big tough guy, which is kind of his entire personality. And there is some merit to that, but we'll get more to that when we get to season 5.
Okay. Also, I just want to say thanks for commenting, Ben. Thanks for being here, Jeffrey or Joffrey. Yeah, don't put Jeff in the same category as Joffrey. So next we have I would say who do we want to Lashana. We'll do Lashana next. Like I would say like out of all the stereotypes, like she has like she's like the biggest stereotype out of all of them.
Yeah, which some people can view it as aging very poorly, which fair enough, but I feel like Lashana is the primary example of being able to act out of her stereotype. Because yes, everybody here is a giant stereotype, but they're not defined by their stereotype, with a few exceptions.
Yeah, Heather being one of the primary ones because of the fact that she is if you took someone straight out of Mean Girls and put them in this show.
Yeah, fair enough. but we see her like get out of the mean girl stereotype. But again, we'll get to that later. Next person I feel necessary to talk about, since we brought up Lashana, Harold, the
Harold.
nerdiest nerd to ever nerd.
Yes.
Clearly based on Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
To the point where he even sounds almost like Napoleon Dynamite.
And then who else do we have? Oh, and then we have Tori from Power. Oh, sorry, my bad. Bridget. I had to make that joke. If it was gonna be what it had to be one of us. But yeah, Bridget is the stereotypical surfer wearing a blue vest, and literally, if you type in Bridget Tori Power Rangers, like people compare her online to Tori from Ninja Storm, which is kind of appropriate considering we just finished Ninja Storm.
Yeah. Next we have Trent, who is Ed Sheeran. A couple years, which is Ed Sheeran a decade before Ed Sheeran became a thing. I mean, what?
Wait, I want to look.
Basically every stereotypical indie white boy with a guitar.
Oh, oh yeah, you're right. And honestly, I must say, like, he has probably one of the best relationships in the series with Gwen, because of like Gwen just being like the very stereotypical goth girl of like, oh, I don't want to get involved with everyone, to like coming together with him, which I must say, given this series, that's probably not gonna last.
Just you wait.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Then we have Noah, who is also a bit of a nerd, but he's a lot more sarcastic than Harold. He's a lot more monotone, not really fazed by much. Like we see his first interaction with Duncan, who threatens to give him a lip piercing, and he's like, "No thanks, dude. Can I have my lip back? Thanks."
Yeah. And also as well, he speaks in like a very stereotypical AI, like I am not getting involved in this. This is boring kind of voice.
Yeah, but as the series goes on and Noah makes more appearances, he does put a little bit more inflection in his voice. But again, we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
You'll hear me saying that a lot.
Yeah, well, I'll hear you saying that. So who else? Oh, we have Izzy as well, who I must say, out of all the characters here, with the only exception being Chris, she has to be like the most craziest out of all of them.
I mean, it has been said that her therapist did say she was psychotic.
Well, oh my god! Don't tell me that there's going to be a twist in the reboot where Izzy is the secret daughter of Chris.
No.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, because that might have been like just too insane for my liking. But to be fair, that would have actually made total sense if you really think about it.
Yeah. She's also on the run from the RCMP. Which will play more into effect later. Next up, Cody, who is also a nerd, but tries way too hard to be some cool guy.
Yeah. Well, I'm on the wiki now, and his epithet is literally the geek.
Yeah, like we see him like walk up being like, "Hey, what's up, everybody? Ooh, see all the ladies have arrived. All right."
Oh my god! I've just realised what Cody is. Based on the trailer for Inside Out 2, he's the male version of what Riley in Inside Out's going to be in Inside Out 2. Just trying to be the cool kid, but being like, oh, I really don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, like the dude, like if Scott Pilgrim fans will know what I'm talking about, but like he's the kind of guy who would like watch the Scott Pilgrim movie or like read the comics and be like, bro, Scott's so much like me, without realizing the subtext of Scott Pilgrim and what Scott Pilgrim actually is.
Yeah.
After and then we get to Eva, the
Female bully who is just complete. Okay, I said Izzy was the crazy. No, I think Eva was so crazy that she didn't that she got eliminated right off the bat, then came back just to get eliminated again.
Honestly, yeah, like from her first appearance, she seems just like a stoic, a strong chick who's kind of stoic, but does have a bit of a anger issue.
A
There's
bit.
also a bit, yeah.
Okay.
Then we have two squealing chipmunks, Katie and Sadie.
Oh God. Who I swear are trying to be sisters, but apparently they're not. But I swear to God, they have to be sisters in some way.
Like I literally have a loose hair tie here. There are more brain cells in this hair tie than Katie and Sadie combined.
Oh my word! Yeah, they're like. People say Lindsay is the dumb princess, but honestly, I think these two are just like. I'd say they're dumber than Lindsay,
dumber.
in my opinion. Yeah.
And then we got the homeschool Ezekiel, who
oh, go ahead.
Who like everyone like he. He speaks with a very thick Canadian accent. He was raised on the prairie, out in the countryside. And Chris is just like, dude, just try not to say anything and try not to be the first kicked off.
So let me guess. Chris hates Ezekiel the most out of all of them.
And we'll get to that later.
Okay. But then we have Richie. Oh, sorry, Justin. I love the fact that he's called the eye candy. I'm like, no, that's Richie's job from Power Rangers. What do you think? What do you think you're gonna be, Justin? Like, just stand there and smile? Oh wait, that's what eye candy is meant to be.
I mean, to be fair, like he talks in episode 1, doesn't talk for the rest of the series until the 1 hour special. But again, we'll get to that.
Wait, really? God, I thought Richie was useless. Like Justin, I think Justin has just outdone him for most useless character in a series. That is just there to be eye candy.
We'll get to that. Then we have Courtney, who is the who seems to be a bit of a goody two shoes. Very calm, very nice. Hi everybody, how you doing? She was a CI. She was a counselor in training. We actually saw. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. Each one of these contestants actually had an audition tape, and when they were eliminated, we would actually see their audition tapes, -2 in this case. We see in Courtney's audition tape, she was actually running for student council at her school during her audition tape. So we see that she's trying to be very. I believe her label is the overachiever, which. See how the trajectory of Courtney's character goes? That makes too much sense.
No. Her thing was the type A.
The type A.
Yeah. But yeah, Courtney is portrayed as like just like I'm the perfect honor roll student. I don't get in trouble, and yet what does Duncan do to her?
Basically pushes all of her buttons to see if she can snap.
And she does, because you gotta have that
Uh,
character who's like, no, I'm perfect, nothing can phase me. Oh my god, this is. I've never felt so alive, alive.
but then we get. I saved this guy for last on purpose because he is my favorite character in this entire show. The big guy, Owen.
Oh, there was one more. Wait. There was one other character that we forgot to talk about, which I'm surprised we've not talked about yet, considering you and him share the same name.
Oh, I forgot about Tyler.
Yes, you forgot. Okay, Blaze. Okay, just before you get into it, Tyler. What's up, Blazing Boy? Yeah, we're just talking about Total Drama Island. But yeah, I'm surprised you didn't mention Tyler up until this point. And I thought like that was being deliberately saved for last.
Yeah. Okay. So Tyler's whole thing is that he's a jock. The only problem is he completely sucks. Like we see him like water skiing on the back of his boat. He somehow trips in midair, rolls along the water, gets catapulted off a rock. It splashes into the runs into everybody's luggage, splashes water onto Heather.
Which let's be honest. Anybody who hates Heather, that's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. But now we can get to my favorite character, bundle of joy, cinnamon roll, Owen.
Owen. Now, I will say this. I like Owen. He's a fun character, but I will admit, the fart jokes went on way too long. Like,
yeah, fair enough.
It almost became like the defining trait of his character. Like, just I'm the fart machine. It's like, oh, nobody likes fart jokes.
Just you wait. Oh, just you wait.
Oh, wait. Mahatam Owen, you mean? Oh, yeah, fart jokes are bottom tier. Yeah. Now, to be fair, I will say this, Blaze Boy, Owen more than makes up for it because of just his likable person. Like, nothing gets this guy down. Like, literally, nothing in the series gets this guy down.
Yeah, dude can just find a positive spin on everything.
And like Mahatma Gandhi.
Like Owen so much.
Okay. But no. Oh, and Owen, when you first look at him, like, oh, you don't think he's gonna do really well because he's portrayed as like I'm the fat, naive guy who you look at him and it's like does not scream like I am gonna be like, I would say yeah, he's aggressive. Would you say that's accurate? That he's aggressive, positive.
Yeah, he portrays a lot of like aggressive positivity a bit, but
yeah, I think the only time he ever really like loses that is when he has to deal with Heather, because even he admits like Heather goes too far.
Mm-hmm. But with everybody gathered, they take a picture. The dock breaks, and they gather at the campfire where Chris divides them into two teams: the Screaming Gophers and the Killer Bass. And when everybody gets settled, we see kind of how everyone's personalities kind of meshes with each other. We see Heather complaining. We see Gwen telling Heather to shut up. We see Heather telling Gwen to shut up or telling her to shut up. We see Cody trying to raise up Gwen, only to be thrown out of the girls' side of the cabin. We see Jeff being excited at the prospect of being unsupervised. And we see Lindsay being terrified of a cockroach.
Which, to be fair, a lot of people are terrified of cockroaches, so I'll give her a pass on that one.
And we see DJ being terrified of a cockroach and breaking Gwen's bed.
Yeah, which you would think that DJ would be like, "Oh, hello, little guy. What's your name? Here you go. Go on outside." No, it's like, I'm meant to be the guy who likes all animals, but I hate this like one animal.
And then Duncan freaking takes an axe to the cockroach, which just kind of feels like overkill. Like, ever heard of the paper cup the like newspaper and cup technique?
Or ever heard of the just the piece of paper or a piece of towel, put it on there, put it outside.
Yeah, simple solution. But
of course we can't. I was good. You are going to be a success, and you're going to like it. Okay, I don't know what that means, Ben. You'll have to have us put in context with that. But yeah, so we have them once they get sold into everywhere. They go to eat, and this is where we get introduced to Chris's quote unquote best friend and psychic, Chef Hatchet.
And Chef Hatchet is basically your standard old military guy.
Who just makes it even more miserable to add. It's just like, because you see later that him and Chris are hogging all the good food, but it's like, no, you campers are gonna get this delicious gruel, and you're gonna like it.
And in the first episode, he says he makes it 3 times a day, and they eat it 3 times a day.
So I've got a question. Chef. Like, what else do you have? Which at that point you'd be questioning, like, is this really all there is on this island? And then I'd be like, there asking Chris, like, why don't you eat it? I've never seen you eat it. Come on, you eat it.
Dude's the host. He's not supposed to. He's a pretty
the host
who watches people get hurt.
No, the host needs to get involved as well. That should be in the contract. Well, given that Chris wrote the contract, he might have just edited that part out.
Yeah. And then he announces the first challenge, which we end on a cliffhanger, which sees the... I say that literally because it shows the campers all in their swimsuits standing over a giant cliff, which leads us straight into episode 2, The Not So Happy Campers, part 2. The first episode was part 1, where Chris announces the first challenge is to jump off a 1,000-foot-high cliff into a lake full of sharks, trying to aim for a safe zone to where somehow the sharks aren't in the safe zone. Like how are the sharks not in that safe zone? How can it not just swim by it?
I don't know. This is Chris. We have to go to Planet Chris McLean and work out his logic, which is impossible.
Yeah. And we also see after Owen mentions that the interns always test the challenges to make sure they're safe, and instead of an intern, we see Chef. We see Chef testing the challenge to where he doesn't land in the safe zone, and runs away a la Scooby-Doo from a shark.
Yeah, which at that point I think anybody else would be like, yeah, we're all out of here. We quit. We're not going to turn this into a what happened in South Park where we try to jump the shark and it fails and then we all end up getting eaten. So at that point I'd be like, I'm out.
And we actually see a couple people actually take that approach, specifically DJ, Courtney, and Beth. and they were forced to wear chicken hats and go down an escalator.
You know what? I'd rather take the chicken out in the escalator than deal with the sharks.
And a few notable dives is Tyler taking a dive and landing on one of the buoys, Duncan's deadpan dive, Ezekiel hitting the side of the cliff and not getting seriously injured, Harold somehow hitting his nuts on the water, and we see.
I'm trying to remember like what happened with Owen.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
We also see.
Oh, I was gonna say we also see just Duncan being there, just being like with his arms folded and being like, why am I even doing this? He's like, you could just see in that moment with Duncan, like he's questioning the moment of like, what am I even doing with my life?
I mean, it's either that or go back to juvie.
Which he even mentions at times juvie was treating better than this, and you know what? I can believe it. I can definitely believe that he was treated better there than in this reality animated series thing.
Also keep in mind he's competing for $100,000. So it's either go on this show and almost try to win $100,000, or sit in juvie.
I don't think this series is worth $100,000.
We also see Katie and Izzy switch teams, as Katie was a gopher and Sadie's a bass, but they want to be on the same team. So Izzy offers to switch teams. So Izzy is now a gopher, Katie's now a bass. This switch ultimately amounts to nothing.
Yeah, it's like this series is called Total Drama, but yet there's no drama between like Katie and Sadie, if you really think about it. I mean, they have a couple of disagreements, but then they like resolve it within like I'd say an episode or two.
I think that's the entire joke. They get into fights and resolve it in like the same day.
So, are you sure they're not siblings? Because at that point, I'm thinking like, no, they probably are.
But some highlights of the Gophers' jumps include Lashawna throwing Heather off the cliff,
which is good,
and then jumping afterwards.
Oh my god, I've got to see it again. I'm gonna get it up right now and just watch it again quickly. Obviously without the audio, but I need to watch it again.
We also have Lindsay for some reason wearing her heeled boots when jumping off of a cliff, which, I mean, it's Lindsay, so fair enough. We also see Justin not land into the safe zone, but him being so attractive to the sharks for some reason, they decide to spare him.
Okay, that is just hilarious. Like, Justin is just that goddamn attractive that, you know what? You would think that with Justin, he would be one of the characters that would. Are there other characters that are going to be coming up that are like Justin, like just so gosh darn unadulteratedly hot that everybody fawns over them?
We'll get to that.
Okay, so that pretty much confirms yes.
We never see Noah jump, but it is implied that he jumped. And then, with everybody minus Beth on the Gophers team jumping, it all comes down to Owen. If he jumps, he wins it for his team. If he doesn't, I guess they tie.
And Owen. I was going to say, and Owen has like armbands on, like, but they're not just like
swim fins.
Yeah. Wait, what do you call them? Like the things that you put? Are they because we call them armbands. I don't know if there's a
Uh,
different name for them in America.
swim fins, water wings.
Okay, all right.
There's a couple different names.
Okay. So yeah, he does a run up and he does a I think it's a bomb dive. Oh no, yeah, is
It's
it
a
meant to be
belly flop.
a belly flop? And he belly flops right on top of two of them. Like who is it?
Noah and Trent.
Noah and Trent, and they're just there like watching without even thinking like maybe we should get out of the way until he's like right close to them, and he creates a tidal wave.
Yeah, and he wins the Gophers the first half of the challenge, which gives them an advantage in the second part of the challenge, while also losing his swimsuit.
Yeah. Also, I've got to show. Okay, I'm gonna screenshot it right now. Just this image because it's absolutely hilarious. If I can get it up. Where is it? Oh, come on. Where are we? Here we go. Yeah. So, screen share just quickly. Just this image now of just the shark being after Owen's bond dive, just being like in the tree of just being like, what is up with that guy?
Yeah, that was very funny. Then we get to the second part of the challenge, which is building a hot tub. The advantage the Gophers, they have to take crates of supplies and take it to the campgrounds. The Gophers get an advantage in this because they get wheelbarrows to pull along their crates, while the Bass have to move their crates by hand. And we see that go into varying effects. We see people like Eva having a pretty easy time because she's that swole. We see Courtney complaining that she got a splinter.
We see Trent and Trent and Noah using their teeth to carry the crate, which realistically, I know this is not meant to be taken too realistically, but realistically, they would snap their teeth.
They didn't pull the crates with their teeth. That's later on when they got to the campground because they had to open the crates with their teeth.
Oh, all right. Oh, that was it. Yeah. So we have Izzy pulling a rope with her teeth to try and get it open.
Yeah, and she got rope burn on her tongue.
Yeah.
It was also during this where Katie and Sadie felt a burning itch on their behinds, and it turns out they popped a squat over poison ivy.
Ouch. Like, I don't know if you've ever been in contact with poison ivy before.
I am fortunate enough to not have.
And I am fortunate enough to not have, but I can just imagine how that must be painful.
Yeah. I don't know if water is supposed to cool off a poison ivy itch.
No, I don't think it. Actually, let me look that up. Can water cool off poison ivy?
And then we see a bug fly into Courtney's eye, which she then smacks her eye, which then causes her eye to swell.
Okay. Okay. So it can. Hot showers spread poison ivy. False. Cool showers soothe an itch longer since hot water rushes blood to the affected area and gives only temporary relief. So yeah, a cool shower could actually do it.
But Katie and Sadie were just dipping their butts in like shallow seawater. And it is confirmed to be fresh water, not salt water.
Okay, so I guess it would work a lot longer.
I guess if the water was particularly cold.
But anyway, since this is a reality show, obviously they're gonna have parts where the contestants go off to express their feelings, and they do in the form of
Oh
the
yeah,
to-
I forgot to talk about the confessionals.
the confessionals. Like, well, I guess it's about time we bring that up. So the confessionals take place in an outside toilet area, which is infested with flies. Which you think someone like Heather would be like, nope.
I mean, it's either that or be around people that she deems crazy. So I'm sure she'll take the poop shed.
I think after the finale, she definitely doesn't want to go back in the poop shed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
And according to Duncan, especially after Owen,
Oh yeah.
which it's also implied that people do their business there, which you would imagine they wouldn't because they have communal bathrooms to do their if they want privacy while doing their while like taking a leak or taking a shit. But no, they sometimes go in the outhouse. Like, why would you
Which
go in the outhouse confessional?
I guess if you're Owen and you'd probably be like, I can't take this any longer. Well, I guess desperate times call for desperate measures.
Yeah, fair enough. Then we have, and then we get to the proper hot tub building portion of the challenge, where Courtney just tries to take charge and be controlling, while the Gophers work together properly as a team. The Gophers build a good hot tub, while the Bats build a crappy hot tub, and Harold takes a hammer to the groin.
Yeah, Harold takes a hammer to the groin and a wooden plank to the face.
Yeah.
Which you'd figure like Heather being like just the heinous bitch that she is wouldn't be good at working as a team.
Yeah, that's a bit of a complaint I have about Heather. She like flip flops between being a petty bitch and also being ultra competitive and always wanting to win, especially in the early seasons, specifically here. It's like, do you want to win or do you want to be petty? Make up your mind.
Which I guess is kind of the joke that she's so petty that she will outdo her pettiness in order to win.
I guess.
But yeah, I don't get it either. So
and then we
go
have
ahead.
then we have the Bass in the lodge the Bass talking about who they're going to vote off. Which, why are you talking about this publicly? This should be something kept to yourselves or a small group of people.
Well, I guess that's the whole point of it. It's like we've got to create drama somehow, so let's make drama by announcing who we're going to vote off.
Yeah, and then Ezekiel opens his mouth to questions why they lost and reveals some rather sexist views which earns him ire from Bridget and especially Eva.
Yeah.
Especially Eva, who wrings his neck after he says that guys are better at sports than girls are.
Oh, really? Well, Ezekiel, can you do a surfboard? Can you someone like
yeah, he probably can't surf considering he lives out in the country. And it's most likely he got this from his dad because he says that his dad told him to watch out for the girls and help them if they can't keep up. Which then Eva rings which prompts Eva wringing his neck.
Yep. But then we get to the final scene of the episode, which is the final scene of most of the episodes, the elimination with the marshmallows.
The dramatic bonfire ceremony.
Which isn't really that dramatic, Chris.
Yeah, not really. Like after that scene with Ezekiel, we kind of knew who was going home.
Yeah. So spoilers. Well, not really spoilers. Ezekiel loses because of his sexist remarks and has to walk across the dock of shame
and board the boat of losers, which means you're out of the contest and you can't come back
ever. But wait a minute, Chris. Later on, some of them do come back ever.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
So overall thoughts on Ezekiel in this season? He didn't really amount to much.
No, I think he was just there. I think he was just there just to be like cannon fodder.
Yeah, he was there to be a first boot, and surprisingly, he does come back for another season, which is very polarizing to fans.
I've got a question that if Chris hates, because it seems like Chris does hate Ezekiel like the most out of all of them, why would he invite Ezekiel back?
He didn't. He just happened to be there.
So Ezekiel was just there, just kind of showed up and hijacked a spot.
He was in the right place at the right time.
Okay.
But
honestly,
then
Ezekiel, I could not care less about.
Yeah. We'll have more to say about him when we get to World Tour. But then we get to episode 3, The Big Sleep, which opens with Chris waking up everybody with an air horn. And then setting all the contestants on a 20-kilometer run. Go ahead.
Yeah, which I would say is a little bit psychotic, but then again, we've had Kitchen Nightmare where Gordon Ramsay has had his team do that before.
Yeah. We also get glimpses of Eva's bad temper here, which, if even a 5-year-old could tell this was foreshadowing.
Yeah.
After the 20-kilometer run, Harold nearly has heart palpitations, and then all the teens have a big feast, which is all set up for the Awake-a-thon, where they have to stay awake as long as possible.
Wait, I could do.
Which, like, and we see all the contestants take this in varying ways. We have Lindsay and Beth trying to rush all the blood to their heads by doing handstands. We see Courtney just jogging in place. And we also see Heather start playing a bit more strategically. Specifically by forming an alliance with Lindsay and Beth to try to take them to the final 3, supposedly.
Which considering, I was going to say, which considering we know what kind of person Heather is going to be, yeah, that doesn't work out.
Yeah. We also see Eva drop her MP3 player, which Heather immediately nabs. Not very subtly either, but this comes back into play later. Some general highlights of the Awake-a-thon is Tyler thinking Katie and Sadie got mauled by a bear, Cody falling asleep on Owen's ass, and then him farting in his sleep.
Of course, Chef being dressed as a pink sheep with a harp.
Yep. We also see him dressed like a ballerina
Yes.
Spreading like pixie dust everywhere, making everybody fall asleep. We have DJ tie himself to a tree, and then and when he falls over, the tree goes with him.
Which doesn't make any sense.
We also see bits of Trent and Gwen bonding, talking about their favorite movies, favorite songs, favorite colors, and then they see Owen sleepwalking naked.
Yeah, that's gonna I think traumatize Gwen for the rest of her life.
And Trent.
Oh,
keep in
and
mind,
Trent.
he's sleeping in the same room as Owen.
Oh yeah, yes he is.
So then we see Owen go on some crazy hijinks as the sun and the moon rise and fall. We see him swimming up a waterfall with some salmon, which maybe Owen's gonna evolve into a Gyarados if he splashes hard enough. We see Owen become a part of a beaver dam, and then we cut back to the remaining contestants, where we see Justin cheat by painting his eyelids.
Yeah. Oh,
and just
that
stand there with his eyes shut.
Hey, if he doesn't get caught, then it's worth it to cheat that way. But no, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, Blazing Boy. How many episodes? We watched the entire season of Total Drama Island, and we're going to be watching the entire franchise.
Yep, except for the baby show, you can't make us or me.
No,
specifically.
Yeah, Blake. Don't say anything to make us watch the baby show.
But ultimate, we also see Noah sucking on Cody's ear in his sleep, which starts an entire ship. Which I don't get. But ultimately, after Duncan falls asleep on the John, Gwen wins the challenge for her team, and then Eva goes into a rage after realizing she lost her MP3 player, which Heather then returns to her under the guise of of her finding it at the fire pit, which then leads to Eva's elimination.
Yeah, which I've got a question this whole challenge as well. Like, how did Chris stay awake? Like, I know he's drinking coffee, but how strong is that coffee to keep him awake?
We gotta be pretty damn strong. But something tells me that him and Chef were like taking shifts. So
they could,
or like, they go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So that they can keep an eye on things.
Yep. Then we have and then of course Eva gets eliminated because of her little rage fest. And Eva did not really contribute much. Like, she was like a promising figure, being one of the physically strongest on her team. But really, she doesn't really contribute much and doesn't really go outside of her stereotype.
No.
She does appear in one more episode in the competition, but we'll get to that.
And then she is never
seen again.
What, really?
Well, never seen again in the competition. She's seen again, but not as a competitor.
Okay.
But Island is her only season competing.
Which is a blessing in disguise.
Mm-hmm. But next episode 4, Dodge Brawl, we see all the campers playing a game of dodgeball.
And they've got to remember the 5 dodgeball: dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. Uh, I had to do that reference to Dodgeball. Have you ever seen that film, Dodgeball?
Nope.
Oh, it's so good, that one. It's so quotable. So
Um,
yeah, they're all in a game of dodgeball where yeah, not Harold or Noah is the one who's just being like the party pooper. It's like, I'm not gonna play this game. Like, just play the bloody game, Noah.
yeah, Noah stayed on the sidelines for the entire competition, which, spoiler alert, leads to his
Yeah,
elimination.
yeah.
But the
I,
ultimate MVPs here, Cody and Owen for the Gophers, and for the Bass, Duncan and Harold.
which I'm surprised, like Harold was the MVP for them.
Yeah. At the end of the Harold is the one who won the challenge for the Bass,
Yeah.
thanks to the power of figure skating.
Yeah, thanks to the power of figure skating, which or it could have just been like that he has the power of just not being able to be attacked. Like anytime something's thrown at him, he's just like, oh, what's down there? Dodges out of the way. Just the power of dodging.
Yep. And when the Gophers go to the bonfire ceremony, we see Noah be eliminated.
Yeah. Which
Noah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Which I think it's just like a good because Noah, just seeing him in the episode just there on the sidelines, just reading a book. It's like, Noah, this is dodgeball is a team sport. It's dodgeball is a fun game if you're not as long as the people learn to control their throws. But dodgeball's one of the funnest sports out there.
Mm.
I don't know about you, but did you play much dodgeball when you were younger?
Not really.
Okay, but it's still one of the most fun ones out there because of the fact that, oh, you think you're gonna hit me? Too slow, too slow.
But yeah, this is Noah's weakest showing. His subsequent appearances are much better.
Which I hope so. I hope so.
Then we get to episode 5, Not Quite Famous, which is a talent contest.
Oh my god! Oh my god! It's America's Got Talent, the psychotic edition.
Yeah. Highlights for all the contestants' talent is Tyler sucking at doing tricks on the yo-yo. You've heard of Godspeed. Now we have Tyler invented snail shit.
Which, yeah, which, hey, Red, if you're watching this, you could learn a trick or two from Tyler in this series. Since I know you're starting to get into using yo-yos.
Yeah, learn how not to yo-yo from Tyler. We also see Owen belts out the alphabet with a belch.
Which, okay, in terms of like gross out humor from Owen, that's probably the only time when it's allowed.
Yeah. We also see Beth's baton twirling, Katie and Sadie failing at dancing, and Jeff being the star of the next pro skater game.
Yeah. And there was another one that because didn't Heather do ballet?
Yeah, Heather did show off some of her ballet chops, though ultimately she does not show them off at the talent contest, but we'll get to that.
Yes, we'll get to that moment because honestly, at that point, Heather should have been eliminated for what she did in this episode.
Yeah. But on the eve of the contest, for the Gophers, we have Justin, his talent was being hot. Don't know about
Justin.
We see Trent play a nice acoustic ballad. We see DJ do some ribbon dancing. We have Bridget do trying to do a handstand for 20 minutes because originally Courtney was going to be in Bridget's place, but Bridget inadvertently caused the break of Courtney's violin. Which violins are overrated, string bass better, fight me.
What do you have against violins?
Nothing. I actually used to play the violin before I transferred the string bass and learned the beauty of string bass.
String.
Have you ever? Yeah, like the upright bass.
The double bass. Oh, right.
Yeah, double bass.
Which, by the way, no, I've never played a string instrument. I played the clarinet. What? Are you just in the clarinet?
No, I just remember I had a band teacher that I had someone in marching band who would always diss the clarinets.
Why? What's wrong with the clarinet?
Hey, don't ask me. Ask him.
I will.
He's like, good luck finding him because he's somewhere in America.
Okay. I need Chris's control over America to or over reality TV to find out where this guy is.
Anyways, we see Bridget trying to do a handstand for 20 minutes, but because she scarfed on a bag of chips, she proceeded to puke everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
She puked on her teammates, the opposing team, everywhere.
I'm wondering, what was DJ's talent again?
Ribbon dancing.
What? Sorry, you cut out then.
Ribbon dancing.
Tyler?
Ribbon dancing.
Oh, ribbon dancing. Sorry, I didn't hear you. But you would have thought that DJ's talent would have been like DJing.
It's a subversion of expectations.
Yeah. But so that just what makes DJ more wholesome.
Mm-hmm. And
I've got to ask. Oh, sorry. I just want to ask you question. Who do you think is more wholesome, DJ or Owen?
More wholesome, DJ. Who I like more, Owen.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, but then we get to Heather,
who instead of doing her ballet routine, reads Gwen's diary on national TV. It's not international yet. It gets international by time of World Tour. Which reveals her obvious crush on Trent, which is news to Cody because he spent the entire episode creeping on Gwen, including following her around and sniffing her hair and watching her change.
Yeah, Cody in this episode, what you did was unforgivable. What Heather did was unforgivable. There should have been a double elimination here with Cody and Heather.
Yeah. But then we get to the final performer of the bash because Jeff broke his skateboard, which left Tyler, Duncan, and Harold, with Duncan's talent being carving a picture of his own skull. But then we have Harold, who kills it when it comes to beatboxing, winning it for the bass yet again.
Nice.
Harold is the GOAT, and I am not taking criticism.
Even though he does something later that causes his elimination.
We'll get to that. Which I just noticed, we're like little over an hour in. We're only on episode 5.
Yeah, I was just realizing that like we might have to speed this up.
Yeah. So, thanks to the power of poor math, Heather manages to rally enough people to eliminate Justin somehow.
Which, honestly, yeah, Justin, what was the point of you?
Yeah, I can see why he was eliminated because he did not contribute much. But logically, like, that did not make sense.
Yeah. Oh, like, I. Ugh.
Like, Lindsay and Beth were obvious. I don't know how she convinced Izzy. Owen was bribed with food.
Yeah.
So that would only give her 5 votes, which
Yeah.
at worst would cause a tie.
Yeah. The one
Well,
who would
that's
definitely, want Heather off after that would be Gwen.
Yeah, Gwen, Trent, and Lashana, which means either Cody, Justin, or both of them wasted their votes, or would vote against Heather. But yeah, Justin's gone. He'll play more of a role next season. Episode 6, The Sucky Outdoors.
Which, hey, everything on this island is sucky outdoors, so the title just should be for the whole season.
Yeah. The whole challenge here is that they have to spend the night in the woods and make it back to camp.
Which for challenges, that doesn't seem so bad. But of course, with Chris, there's always the catch.
Yep, in this case, bears.
Yeah. Well, to be fair,
really loves bears.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, the bears being here, I guess, kind of gives Cody consequences for his actions. Because doesn't he get mauled by one of the bears?
That's not till later. In this
Oh,
episode,
okay.
Cody just stays silent and pisses his pants. Twice.
Well, I guess that's a set up for what's to come.
Mm-hmm. We also see Owen tell a tall tale about him and his grandfather taking down a bear. And we also see Izzy dress up like a bear to scare her team until they encounter a real bear and they spend the night in the trees. As for the bats, we see kind of this. We had a bit of the seed sown in Dodge Brawl, but we see more seed sown of Duncan and Courtney's relationship.
Yeah.
As he tells a scary story and feigns ignorance.
Yeah, an episode I think introduces DJ's rabbit.
Yep, Bunny.
Oh,
which is
Bunny.
like naming a dog.
Well, I guess it could be like BB, so short for. They could have easily done a joke here where he names it BB. Obviously standing for Bugs Bunny, but he's not allowed to say Bugs Bunny.
This is also a Katie and Sadie episode, which involves them getting lost, having a fight, and spending a night in a cave.
And screaming at like dogs.
Yeah, I call them 2 squealing chipmunks before. This drives that point home. And back to the store and then the bank. We also see Bridget accidentally burn down the Bass's tent, and then they have to sleep outside in the rain. While the Gophers spend the night in the tree.
Well, this sucks. But I do love how the bear is just standing there while Owen's just chastising it, and I think this is my highlight of the episode where Owen just is there, just chastising the bear, and then just rips off the top of its fur. Then he's just like, "Yeah, I'm out of here."
Yeah, but then a large majority of the Bass make it back. The Gophers think they lost the challenge, all thanks to Owen and Izzy. But thankfully, the Bass are still missing Katie and Sadie, who make it by and cost them the challenge.
Yeah.
By
So
the
it's no
marshmallow
secret.
ceremony. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was gonna get to the marshmallow ceremony. So it's made no secret that it is it
What was that? You broke up like a motherfucker.
is it Katie or Sadie that goes in this episode?
Katie goes in this episode.
All right. Also, hi, Alicia. I cannot pronounce your last name. I'm sorry. I am sorry. So yeah, Katie goes in this episode, and of course, her and Sadie having a cry, like, I can't live without this person in my life.
Yep. And surprisingly, I think one of the few times the series actually does this. The next episode, Phobia Factor, actually picks up where the Sucky Outdoors leaves off, with Sadie still crying on the dock about how much she misses Katie, with then Bridget dragging her back to the fire pit with a chunk of the dock still in Sadie's hands.
Which how?
Sadie must be pretty strong.
But she's a twig.
What?
Oh, sorry. I thought. Oh, I get those two mixed up all the time. Like Sadie and Kay. I always think one is the other.
A twink?
I said I meant to say a twig because I thought Sadie was. I thought Katie. What? I thought Sadie was like the skinny one, but no, it's Katie.
Yeah, Katie's the skinny one. Sadie's the shorter, chunky one.
But really, why does it matter? They're both pretty much the same character, just split up into two bodies. So why does it matter?
Yeah, honestly, Sadie could be swapped out for Katie, and it would make no difference. But then the Gophers come by with after a nice trip to the tuck shop, which I learned what tuck shops are after this episode.
Yeah, because you
drama.
Yeah, because you had to ask me, like, what is a tuck shop?
Yep. But then everybody gets in a big circle and shares their worst fears. DJ's afraid of snakes. Tyler's afraid of chickens. Gwen's afraid of being buried alive. Izzy and Owen are afraid of flying. Jack's scared of hail. Go ahead.
Which I've got to say is like, because I've seen the intro for World Tour, because I sent you that picture. I've got to say it is absolutely ironically hilarious that Izzy and Owen are scared of heights, and yet they're the ones on top of the entire group, on top of the plane.
Yeah.
Which when we get to World Tour, I'm gonna be questioning that like image of just like, how does that even work with everyone's height and body weight?
Again, Alejandro has an IQ of 163 and a bachelor's in engineering.
There's always an answer for everything. But yeah, so what would so in this situation, because my biggest fear would be just being swarmed by bees and wasps, what would your biggest fear be?
German Shepherds.
Okay. All right.
I told you my biggest fear. Yeah. For context in the audience, one time when I was 10, I was over at a friend's house around Mother's Day, and my friend's German Shepherd came up and bit me on the side. I then had to go to the doctors that day to get a tetanus shot.
Ouch. But yeah, now that you mentioned it, Mother's Day here tomorrow, so happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in the world from the UK.
Happy British Mother's Day.
Yeah, Yeah, hey, you Americans in New York.
Yeah, for us, for us, Mother's Day will actually be like 2 months away.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense.
Well, that's America for you. Anyways, so we have Bridget revealing the fact that she's afraid of being alone in the woods. Cody's afraid of diffusing a time bomb under pressure. Sadie and Lindsay are afraid of bad haircuts. And Lindsay said that she'd rather walk around in a minefield in heels than get a bad haircut, which, okay, yeah, fair for Lindsay. And we also have Duncan reveal that he's afraid of Celine Dion music store standees.
Wait, I guess it's because he had to listen in juvie to "My Heart Will Go On" by Celine Dion.
I guess. Beth revealed her fear of being covered in bugs. Harold's afraid of ninjas, and Heather's afraid of sumo wrestlers.
And Noah, no, who is it? And Tyler is afraid of chickens.
Yep. Actually,
So-
the next day after that, Tyler gets served fried chicken with the chicken inside somehow being alive.
So I guess Tyler, I guess the chicken devil from Chainsaw Man would be useful against Tyler.
I guess. And so the whole challenge in this episode is conquering one's fears.
I was just gonna say, not gonna lie, this is to you, Tyler. Not gonna lie, Tyler's accent was better. Not good, but a great attempt. So hey, you got praise for attempting to do the British accent. And yeah, I've always said, Ben, doing accents is not one of my strengths.
Yeah. Then we have we get like a bit of a montage of everybody facing their worst fears. Lindsay and Sadie have to wear a wig for the entire day. When Izzy go up in a worn down plane flown by Chef. Beth has to jump in a kiddie pool full of worms. Harold gets ambushed by ninjas in the bathroom. Heather has to fight a sumo wrestler. DJ has to touch the world's smallest snake. Duncan has to hug a Celine Dion cardboard cutout. Bridget has to spend 6 hours in the woods alone. Cody has to defuse a time bomb. That if went off would explode in a trash bomb.
Which
Gwen has to be buried alive for 5 minutes, and Trent has to tell a mime to go away.
Which with some of these, I assume it's foreshadowing for things later on.
Some kind of, some not really. Like, we never see like Lindsay's fear of bad haircuts ever come up again. Actually, it does come up, but we'll get to that.
Actually, you want to know what would have been fun? What would have been if it was Heather whose fear is the bad haircut.
Oh yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah, considering what happens to her, actually being buried alive is fucking. Oh no, I don't deny that, Ben. I mean, buried alive with no way out, like.
Yeah, like, and then somehow Chris managed to build like a fake hail cloud to chase Jeff around. And then we get the revelation of Courtney's biggest fear: green jelly.
Which, okay. I mean, what?
It's green jelly. Which
I
I think
mean-
it's the like. It's a lamer fear than chickens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm bringing it up like now. I mean, how can okay, let me quickly go into it. Just bear with me. Yeah, how can okay, Lindsay, work with me here. Work with me. How can you not like? How can you not like green? Unless it's Green Jelly the band.
There's a band called Green Jelly?
Look at what I've done there. Look at what I've just shared on my screen.
Oh, there is a band called Green Jelly.
Yeah, Ben, I'm surprised. Green Jelly. So let side tangent. Let me just look at these. What the? Why have they got pigs?
God, these guys look like new metal rejects, like
Green.
knockoff Limp Bizkit.
So Green Jelly is an American comedy rock band, originally named Green Jello. The band changed its name due to legal pressures from Kraft Food Inc. No, what? This is just a TV show in of itself.
Yeah, but the person going home in this episode was Tyler, because
Yeah,
he
so
he refused to face his fears.
you gotta walk the dock of shame. So come on, get to the dock of shame, Tyler.
Okay, I'll get there after we're done here. I feel like they could have explained Tyler's elimination better, because it really felt like they were setting up for Courtney to be booted. Which
Yeah,
it would take is like one confessional from like DJ being like, "Yeah, Courtney didn't help us in the challenge, but Tyler hasn't been helpful for a good while now, so it feels fair to send him home."
Yeah, and you really think with Tyler, like did he even explain why his fear was chicken?
Nope.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't get
so
an explanation for a lot of these fears. Like, we never get an
I mean,
explanation for why Duncan's afraid of music store standees.
I mean, I guess because music store standees. I guess because it's just like he might have seen like a standee of himself and was freaked out by it.
Possibly.
Yeah, but with Tyler, like if he had just said like, my biggest fear is chickens because I used to live on a farm, and the chickens would peck me all the time. At least that's something.
Yeah, because I actually remember I went up to a camp where we had like a lot of animals. There was a duck, and the duck would always peck my hand, which
Like, why?
I found more amusing than anything. But I don't know. I guess that duck just hated me.
Huh.
And that's also where I faced my a fear of snakes too. I had to hold a snake for 10 seconds.
Oh God.
And I was like terrified. I'm like, nice snake. Nice snake. I'm just lucky the thing didn't bite me. But anyways, next episode, Up the Creek, episode 8, which involved a canoeing trip to Boney Island.
I don't like snakes much either. Hey, to each his own, Ben. But yeah, Boney Island. Like, are we gonna meet Brooke on this island from One Piece?
I don't know. Knowing this series, maybe.
Or are we gonna meet Skeletor and have him say, "It's Molar, Eternian dentist"?
During this trip, we see some development with Cody as he tries to shoot a shot with Gwen, only for him to turn him down, hit him in the nuts with an oar twice.
Which you would think after Cody learns about Gwen's obvious crush on Trent, he would be like, "I'm not doing. Yeah, I give up."
Yeah. Which we do see that in this episode.
Which, thank God, that didn't last long.
Yeah, but honestly, it feels like this episode should have come before uh, uh, Heather read Gwen's diary and made it obvious. Because says to Trent that Gwen's crushing on him.
Which,
But
no!
And like Trent gets mad because he thinks he's lying. Because he thinks Cody's lying. But like, were you there for the talent show, my guy?
Does Trent have? I guess Trent lost a few brain cells.
Possibly. On the Bass team, we see some development from DJ as he reveals the fear of water.
Which for someone like DJ, which actually that makes more sense now why he didn't want to do the jump in the first episode. Well, in the second episode, but it was 2 parts, so it counts as 1 episode. But you get the point.
We also see plenty of Izzy's crazy, revealing that she's possibly 1/16th Cherokee. And we see some bonding from DJ and Jeff, and the seeds being sown for the relationship between Jeff and Bridget.
Hey, good for them. Good for them.
Yeah.
And of course, we have Beth not being aware of do not pick up the cursed item. She picks up the cursed item.
Yeah, don't pick up anything from the island, otherwise you'll be cursed forever.
But wait, is touching them, so like say you went to touch it but you didn't pick it up, does that count as being cursed?
I mean, he said not to take anything back from the island, so
I guess
as she didn't take it off of the island, then she should be fine.
Yeah.
But for that explanation, she was in the can.
Yeah, so for that, Beth stays unnumbered.
Yep. We also see a weird joke about Jeff getting a splinter in his leg and it being treated as if his leg was eaten by a shark.
Which
they don't really do this kind of comedy at all outside of this one scene, which I guess the writers were just kind of experimenting with this kind of comedy. But like, it didn't really hit.
No, it didn't.
We also see Cody saving Trent and Lindsay from a pit of quicksand. Attempting to by swinging on a vine, which causes him to be hit by to hit a tree. But he did save Trent and Lindsay. And then in the part of the challenge where they had to build a fire, Izzy developed a fire starter made from twigs and tree sap, which revealed as to how she became a wanted criminal by the RCMP.
Yeah, and we also see in this episode Chris in the confession booth.
Yep, revealing all the wildlife on Boney Island, such as woolly beavers and pterodactyl geese, as if geese could not get worse.
No, swans are worse. We've had this debate before, Tyler. Swans are worse than geese.
Try pterodactyl geese.
Okay, but try pterodactyl vampire swans.
Well, we don't see pterodactyl. Well, actually, we do see a pair of swans show up in the second season of the reboot, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. We will get to that.
During the fire challenge, Harold decided to throw all of his team's oars into the fire, which...
Oh, go ahead.
Harold, my guy, I get you're, like, not thinking, but, like, that's bad even for you.
Yeah. It's like, Oh, how are you even gonna get off the island without the ore?
And we saw the solution to that with with the killer bass stacking all of their canoes on top of each other, and pushing them across, getting over his fear of water, and winning the challenge for his team, with the Gophers being sent to the elimination ceremony. And then Izzy being caught by the RC, with Izzy being somewhat eliminated because she had to run from the RCMP.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta say, I really liked Izzy. She's not a very deep character, but she did bring some much needed comedy. She's
Yeah.
like one of the pillars of comedy alongside Owen, Jeff, Harold, and such.
Yeah, I agree.
Then we get to the next episode, Paintball Deer Hunt, which that's the challenge. It's a paintball deer hunt.
Yeah.
Some of the campers are hunters, some of the campers are deer.
Yeah, so it's basically laser tag, but total drama style.
And with paintballs instead of lasers.
Yeah.
On the bass, we have some highlights of Owen trying to hunt the likes of Duncan and DJ, and especially DJ, where Owen narrates his entire experience.
Yeah, which isn't it? If I remember correctly, DJ was very hesitant about doing the hunt because of him being an animal lover.
Actually, he played into the role of a deer very well.
Oh, he was a deer.
Running on all fours and prancing around and.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was a deer. So yeah.
Yeah, Bridget was hesitant because she's also an animal lover. And then she was convinced on the prospect of shooting Heather.
Which you would think that if Bridget was an animal lover, that her and DJ would be together.
They do have some scenes together, but they don't really amount to much. Then we have Duncan and Courtney being lost, and them being and their antlers being locked together. So they're basically stuck together the entire episode.
Yeah.
Which culminates in Courtney kicking Duncan in the groin. This series loves its nutshots.
And then somehow those two get together.
We'll get to that. For the Gophers, we see Cody kind of shoot it off on his own. But for some reason, all of his confessionals have him in a wheelchair and a body cast, which gets explained as he gets mauled by a bear. We do have Owen being the narrating hunter, but the big highlight here is with Heather and Beth.
Yes.
With Heather demanding Lindsay and Beth protect her the entire game and pamper her, clipping her toenails, getting her food from the dining hall. Like, Beth evaded capture from Chef just to get Heather a bag of chips. And her not being able to appreciate the second best chip flavor behind sour cream and onion.
Well, what is the best chip? Oh, barbecue.
The best is sour cream and onion, but
I would agree sour cream is a good flavor, but I'm partial to prawn cocktail.
And it turns out he was a big fan of dill pickle.
Ugh, pickle. Bleh, bleh, pickle. Bleh.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But I think
Beth finally stands up for herself. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think my highlight has to be with the bear. How you just see in the confession box with just the deer headband on, the glasses, and then just there with the crisps.
Yeah.
It's just like this bear, just this random bear in the confession box. Like, how did it even open the door?
I don't know. So then, we see Beth finally standing up for herself against Heather by saying that she's tired of taking orders from her. And then they get into a fight. Beth shoots Heather with a paintball, and then Lashana joins in. And then Heather takes Lindsay's paintball gun and shoots it back at Lashana and Beth. And then Jeff, Harold, and Bridget find the four girls shooting at each other, and then the three of them shoot at the four Gopher girls. We see nothing of Gwen and Trent in this episode.
Yeah,
which is kind of weird.
Which I think is weird, but I think is kind of appropriate because I think they've been kind of dominating the spotlight for a while.
Yeah, so it's nice to have a bit of a break from them. Obviously, the Killer Baths win the challenge, and the Gophers go back to the elimination ceremony, where instead of voting off Heather, they vote off Cody.
Well, to be fair, Cody can't do much at this point since he's mauled by a bear in a wheelchair with bandages on.
Yeah, which probably which in later seasons he probably would have been medevaced.
Probably. But it just seems like they're making situations where Heather doesn't get eliminated.
Yeah, we saw this back when Justin was eliminated. Now it's like very apparent.
And of course, at the end of the
Cody drift away.
Yeah, and of course,
because... Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say, and of course, we see Beth being stupid and revealing like, "Oh, I took this cursed item."
Yeah, and she revealed that to Cody after leaving him on the dock to roll off the dock into the ocean to be drifted away,
where we never see him again.
Well, except for episode 22.
Never again.
Anyways, episode 10, If You Can't Take the Heat, which is Total Drama doing its parody of Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah. Where's the lamb sauce? Sauce special!
So, in this episode, the two teams have to create a three-course meal judged by Chris. The Baths do an Italian theme. The Gophers do a Hawaiian theme. For the Heather's head chef of the Gophers, while Jeff is head chef of the Baths.
Oh, is this the episode where they have the poison blowfish?
No, that's next episode.
Oh, okay. All right.
In this episode, Trent gets a concussion after Owen throws a wooden box of oranges at him. We also get Harold being tormented for leaving his drawers out in the open in the Bass cabin.
Which
so
why?
Duncan, Jeff, and DJ just torment the shit out of Harold. I get Jeff and Duncan doing that, but DJ?
DJ? Yeah! It's like, DJ, you're meant to be wholesome here. All he did was leave his underwear on the floor. I mean, everyone... okay, confession time. Confession time right now. We're doing our own confession box. Have you ever left your underwear on the floor before?
In a laundry pile, but...
Well, I'm confessing, I've left it on the floor. I've left it on the floor before. Obviously in my room where nobody comes in, but it's still on the floor. It's like, okay, leave it here for now. I'll pick it up later. It's not worth. It's not worth. The bottom line is, it's not worth being humiliated over.
Yeah, and like we see him being left with nothing but like a Speedo. We see him get a new clean pair, but with a hot sauce stain, which somehow burns his ass.
Must have been really powerful hot sauce.
Probably, and then being left down to his pajamas.
Which, hey, considering considering YouTubers do YouTube videos in their pajamas, that might not be a big
Yeah,
deal.
Yep. As for the gophers, Owen gets stung by bees. And Lashana breaks out in hives because she's allergic to pineapples.
Which I didn't even know you could be allergic to pineapples.
Yeah, you could be allergic to almost anything.
Huh. I wonder, like, what part of the pine is it? Like the citrus part? Because if that's the case, you'd be allergic to citrus fruit.
Yeah, like we see her like break out in like I don't know if it's a rash or hives, but like we see all up on her arm, she like breaks out. Like I actually remembered like that's how I found out I was allergic to latex.
Okay.
Because okay, for those who are like going, "Ooh, Tyler, you freak." I was a waiter. I was working in a kitchen, and I would always wear latex gloves. I was very big on those latex, and like I would always end up with like bumps on my hand from after wearing the gloves for a long time, which just seems like an allergic, which probably was just an allergic reaction from the latex.
Yeah, probably.
But
also, we see in this episode, Heather get something blown up in her face.
Her eyebrows blown off.
Yes, because she foolishly uses I guess it's a canister. I don't know what should like. Did they use like a canister of like liquid gas on the thing that she was trying to light?
She was trying to like do a flambe for like a pineapple upside down cake. Like, it's probably not a lighter fluid because you probably can't eat lighter fluid, but like, it was like a flam.
Okay, while you're thinking about that, I'm gonna say, also we have in this episode, we have one of the so DJ and Lindsay's dish was the meatballs and spaghetti.
It's DJ and Bridget.
Bridget, sorry. We have who else? No. I'm gonna say who was it? Yeah, we have Owen. Owen's dish was gonna be like the roast beef, pork. What? It was gonna be the meat.
It was a thing of ribs, which he proceeded to eat because they decided to have Owen guard the ribs.
Yeah, don't have Owen guard the ribs. His stomach is too weak. It tempted him. We also.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Not to mention that Heather was locked in the fridge.
Oh yes.
And then when she was let out, she was like blue.
Yes. So it's like, oh, she's a ghost, and of course, everyone finds out about Beth having the cursed item.
Yeah, which leads to Beth's elimination over Heather.
Yeah. Again, almost like they're deliberately making it so that Heather does not get eliminated.
I mean, fair enough. Like she's the antagonist, but like you could find better ways to keep her around than that.
Yeah. And I mean, why does it only have to be one antagonist? Why can't it be like who else would like obviously Courtney would be like why not have Heather be the antagonist for the first half and then Courtney be the antagonist for the second half of the season?
Funny you mentioned that. That's kind of what they do for season 2, but again, we'll get to that.
So yeah,
go ahead.
Oh, Yeah, I'll just say my bit about Beth, and then I really need the toilet. So yeah, Beth was interesting, but overall, I didn't really, she didn't really click with me as much as I feel like the series wanted her to click with me.
Same here. Like, Beth could have been like a much more rounded character. I did like her arc with Heather, but like she ultimately didn't amount to much, which probably setting her up for next season. But once again,
We'll
we'll
get
get to
to
that.
it. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly go to the toilet.
All right, I'll just continue talking. So, we move on to episode 11. Who can you trust? Obviously not Chris. So in this episode, it's all about trust challenges, like trust falls but on steroids. Uh, in this episode, we have the in this episode we have like rock climbing, where like Gwen tears off. Gwen gets her skirt torn off by Heather, and having her drawers revealed to the public. We have the poison blowfish, which Luke was alluding to earlier. Bridget manages to make it safe, makes a fugu sashimi safe enough for Jeff, while Trent gets poisoned. Which I don't know how he recovers by episode's end. Like, holy shit! Like, if I don't know how they made like a cure for that for the blowfish poison, because in real life there is no antidote. So there's like a fucking miracle doctor on the production staff. We also have a reverse of the William Tell firing an arrow on at a crab apple, instead launching crab apples to hit an arrow. DJ gets hit in the groin in the challenge demonstration. And then Courtney and Owen get pelted before Lashana wins that challenge for the Gophers. And Courtney promising Sadie goes down.
And I'm back.
Welcome back, Luke. I just started talking about who can you trust.
No one. You cannot trust anyone. Yeah, well, to be honest with Sadie, thank God she's gone, because then she can reunite with Katie and we don't have to put with her anymore.
Yeah. Then we have a trapeze challenge where one person's blindfolded and the other person has to tell them when to jump. Heather gets electrocuted by jellyfish. Another focal point of this episode is Jeff losing Bunny when DJ asks Jeff to look after him.
Which, no, not Bunny.
But Duncan manages to find well, not so much Jeff loses Bunny, more so Bunny gets eaten by a snake, which gets nabbed by an eagle, and then both the eagle and the snake get eaten by a shark.
Yeah. Which, this series not only loves its bears, it loves its sharks.
Yeah, bears and sharks, like the MO of Total Drama. You can't have a Total Drama episode without at least one bear and one shark.
Which, why do I get the feeling that that's going to come into play in Total Drama action?
Yeah, probably. Actually, it does. Anyways, Duncan actually manages to find a new rabbit for DJ, thinking it's the same rabbit as Bunny, which which is revealed during a blind toboggan race. And during the race, DJ lifts his blindfold, costing his team the challenge. So the Bats go back to the elimination ceremony where Sadie gets the boot. I have nothing to say on Sadie because everything I think of Sadie, I think of Katie.
Yep. So let's move on to
Episode 12.
episode
Basic
12.
Training.
Basic streaming. Straining.
In this episode, Chris is actually taking the day off.
Yes. Yes. Oh.
And this challenge is basically just a boot camp. They do standard, well, I believe to be standard military training, like holding a canoe over their head, doing an obstacle course, writing a 300-page essay on why they love Chef.
which I've got to say is the funniest thing ever because I think it's Harold Harold, the one that just writes chef's awesome, chef's awesome, chef's awesome, chef's awesome, over and over and over again.
That's actually Duncan who just says, I love Grandmaster Chief because he's very, 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 very.
And then Chef's just like, you're just saying very over and over again.
Yeah, this entire episode, Duncan is just pushing Chef's buttons.
Which is good.
Go ahead.
Which is funny. Which is funny considering you'd think that if Duncan wanted to be seen as a villain, he'd be teaming up more with Chris and Chef.
Mm-hmm. But no, he's just like, well, he's a rebel. He like sprays graffiti. He broke out of juvie in his audition tape. But which actually we gotta watch his audition tape sometime. But anyways,
yeah.
It gets to a point where Chef sentences Duncan to 1 night of solitary confinement in the boathouse.
Which also leads to him and Courtney, I guess, becoming a couple in this episode.
Essentially, because Duncan and Courtney team up to steal some food. They kiss, and they become an item.
Yeah. And then isn't Courtney the one that gets voted off because of what she did?
Well, first, Gwen wins the challenge for the Gophers, which sends Bass to the bonfire, and it seemed like Harold was going to be the boot, considering he was the unpopular one and such. But then Harold rigs the votes and sends Courtney home.
Oh, that's right, he did. So yeah, Harold is not going to be a pop. But again, he did it because of the fact that people were just dissing on him all this episode, to like making sandwiches out of his underwear.
Yeah, and like fishing for his drawers, giving him a glass of kitchen grease.
So it's like, Harold, even though what you did, Courtney didn't do anything to Harold. So
I think it's more psychological warfare than anything.
Oh, okay. All right.
But then we move on to episode 13, Extreme Torture. Which
no, this is not Extreme Torture. Extreme Torture is the I triple dog dare you. That's Extreme Torture.
Mm-hmm. But basically, the challenges in this episode are a bunch of extreme sports. Like we have skydiving onto a pull-out couch. We have moose riding. and culminating in mud skiing.
Which mud skiing sounds like fun.
Yeah. The Bats win the skydiving portion, while the Gophers win the moose riding portion.
So it's a tie.
It all comes down to the mud skiing. But also during this episode, Gwen and Bridget find a mysterious poem written to a special girl. And they spend the entire episode trying to figure out who wrote the poem. At first, they think it was either Jeff or Trent. Jeff didn't even know what a haiku was. And Trent was out of commission again.
Yeah, and isn't this in this episode? Isn't this the point where Heather's top comes off?
Yep. During the mud skiing, she was about to cut Harold loose until a tree branch ends up taking off Heather's top.
Yeah. So again, I have to question: the swearing is censored, but Heather's top coming off isn't.
Nope.
Logic at its finest. And of course she gets smacked onto a bear. And Jeff in this episode is just like stinky all the time. And I think the only thing Owen really does in this episode is just eat all the marshmallows.
And sleep on the pullout.
Yeah.
And shockingly enough, Lindsay wins it for the Gophers.
Yeah, Lindsay of all people. Lindsay.
And the one who loses to Lindsay's Duncan.
Like, Duncan, you're supposed to be better than Lindsay. But yeah, it wasn't it Lashana that was writing the letter, and it was more to herself. Wasn't that who the letter was?
Lashana was the recipient.
And then, go ahead.
Harold was eliminated, and it turns out he was the one writing the poems.
Oh, right. That was it. Because doesn't Harold have kind of a thing for Lashana?
Yep.
Yeah. Which I assume is going to play into later seasons. Oh, that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, Harold, I did like. I liked his character a lot.
Me too. And I do have to say, like, I do like his breed of comedy. Like, he was treated as kind of a joke, but at the same time, he has a moment where he could shine.
Yeah, I mean, he gets halfway through the season, so because isn't it at this point where the Gophers and the Bass do the merge?
Well, less of a merge and more of a reshuffling. Instead, they become guys versus girls.
Okay, all right.
Which, fun fact, it's the only time that Owen and DJ are on the same team.
That's another thing. Why wasn't Owen brought back for All Stars?
We'll get to that.
Oh, okay. All right. Because you would have thought he would be like perfect for the Heroes versus Villains series.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we can move on to episode 14, Grudge of Disgustingness, which with a title like that, you could pretty much tell what this episode is going to be about.
Yep. Not to mention, this episode is filler tonight because it amounts to nothing, and you can really skip this episode because it is filler.
Because
I mean, we do get some scenes of like the girls and the guys bonding, but like you can skip this episode. Like
Yeah.
the whole thing of the episode is that they're eating disgusting food. They're eating bull testicles, grasshopper jellyfish pizza, French bunion soup, earthworms with snail slime, and it all culminates in shots of cockroaches.
So skip it. Moving on to and you know why this is filler, everyone? There is no elimination.
Instead, the guys go on a spa trip.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, let's skip this episode, go right to episode 15, No Pain, No Game. So we have everyone, basically the two teams are officially dissolved in this episode, and we have the return of two characters, Izzy and Eva. And when I saw Eva, I was like, no, not Eva, which she's back, but only for this one episode, which doesn't make any sense. Why? What was the point of bringing Eva back only to just eliminate her in the same episode she comes back?
A whole lot of nothing.
Yep, a whole lot of nothing. So
she came back to antagonize Bridget,
and that's it.
The whole point of this challenge is to try to last 10 seconds while getting the shit beat out of you. Turtle puck shots, marshmallow wax treatment, poison ivy spa mask, electric eel defibrillator, wooden shorts, and having the woodpecker peck the shorts off.
Which that would probably be the worst for me, because can you just imagine wearing wood shorts and then just having a woodpecker peck right where your little buddy is?
Yeah. In my opinion, the highlight would be Eva spending 10 seconds in a box with Sasquatch and Aqua. And then turning Sasquatch and Aqua into a hat and boots.
Which, how does that work?
Especially, I don't know, but I think Eva should take up clothes designing, because honestly, Sasquatch and Aqua pelts does sound very good.
I don't really agree. But I think the highlight for me was, I think like the most insulting part was when Jeff had to do the basking for 10 seconds with the leeches, but Chris just made like the most. Oh, I'm sorry. You were 9.999999999 seconds. So you didn't reach the 10-second mark. It's just like, Chris, screw you. If it was Chris doing the challenge, you know he would have rigged it. So it's like, actually, it slightly went over to a 0 when I got out. So it technically does still count.
But
I think
all culminates with LaShawn. Go ahead.
Actually, I was going to say no. The worst one for me would be the one that Bridget has to do.
Oh yeah, the bee vest.
Yeah, do not oh my god, it'll be hard. Like woodpecker shorts or bee vest. Like, oh, what would be worse for me?
But it all culminates with Lashana challenging a bear to a log rolling challenge, where she ultimately wins.
Yeah,
Gets
because the
a nice trailer.
bear just like falls off the log and gets itself hit in the balls.
And mauled by piranhas.
Yep.
Then Eva goes home. She amounted to nothing.
Yep. So now
Next
we could
episode.
search and do not destroy.
In this challenge, it's a big old treasure hunt to find the One Piece. I mean, keys.
The 7 keys to find the Dragon Balls. Oh, I'm sorry, it's just a scavenger hunt for keys.
Yep. Duncan had to jump through a hoop of fire. I believe Heather had to go into Chef's kitchen. Gwen had to fetch it out of a skunk hole. Owen had to get it from the neck of a bear.
Why? How did Chris even get it on the neck of a bear?
Oh. And then Jeff had to swim in a septic tank.
Yeah. And then we have Trent who had to get his from what was it? Yeah, from the sharks.
Yep. Yeah, he had to get it from a pole with sharks swimming around it.
Which I've got to say, ingenious on Trent's part. It's like, okay, the sharks are there. What can I use? Okay, there's fish.
Yeah. And it's also in this episode where Trent and Gwen kiss.
Mm-hmm.
But then Heather hatches a plan to break them up by turning Trent against Gwen. By making up smack talk to Trent from Gwen, which culminates in Heather kissing Trent, Gwen walking in on it, and then the two splitting up.
Which go ahead.
Trent fall for that?
Yeah.
He should know the kind of person Heather is.
Oh my word! But
Yeah.
no, I think my highlight for this episode has to be Jeff somehow being Super Mario going down the septic and going down the toilet to get the key.
Yeah, but he only makes it out with a bottle of cologne.
How?
I don't know, but
So yeah.
In this
Go ahead.
episode, Shauna then tells everybody about Heather and Trent kissing, and then it turns out Heather has an invincibility pass, which means she has immunity from tonight's vote. So Trent gets eliminated.
And why was Trent eliminated? Just for the kissing?
Yep, because everyone saw Trent as a two-timer.
But he's
really,
not he was just manipulated by Heather. Like, again.
Trent should know better.
Yeah, he should have known better. But at the same time, you can't eliminate Trent over this.
Well, they did, but they found out the truth when it was too late.
Mm-hmm. And then it turns out that that Trent and Gwen still like each other.
Yep. But thoughts on Trent? He's all right.
Yeah.
It's kind of boring. I mean, if he were a real person, I think he'd be a cool guy. But just kind of boring.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have like as much as Lashana is like the generic stereotype. She is like a fun generic stereotype, especially at the end of this episode when she takes the septic tank and puts it in the shower where Heather is showering.
Mm-hmm. Uh, then we have. So then we have episode 17, Hide and Be Sneaky, I think it's called.
Yeah, so it's basically just an extreme game of hide and seek.
But if you're caught, Chef sprays you with a water gun.
And if you're Chris, Chef will spray you with the water gun.
Mm-hmm.
Which was such a fantastic moment. I had to see it twice.
Mm-hmm.
So you can tell that was the highlight of the episode for me. Just Chris getting sprayed with water.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we have people like Lashana who come up with very creative hiding spots.
Yeah,
with her hiding in the water.
Yeah, waiting for the perfect moment to get to the base.
Mm-hmm.
We have, I think, DJ and Owen are on the roof.
Mm-hmm. We have Duncan in a cave. Lindsay tried hiding under her covers, with to no avail. Then the bathroom, and then in the kitchen, but caused her to get caught.
Yeah. And then we have Bridget, who
gets sprayed by a skunk.
Yeah, gets sprayed by a skunk and has Christmas lights. I guess what are they? Are they the lights from the campsite?
Yeah, they're lights from the campsite.
Okay, yeah. Well, no, she doesn't get sprayed. Oh, yeah, she gets sprayed by like a family of skunks.
Yeah. And the stink is so bad, like not even water gets it off. Not even a shower gets it off.
So I guess that's probably the only reason why Bridget ends up getting eliminated in this episode.
Well, it's also kind of important that we get to mention that we also get the short-lived Guys Alliance. An alliance between Duncan, Jeff, DJ, and Owen, aka all the remaining men.
Yeah.
To try to take out the girls.
Which I get it's trying to be competitive here, but why Owen and DJ?
Because at the end of the day, they're trustworthy and loyal.
Yeah, fair enough.
And in the right scenario, they are good in challenges. And ultimately, this is a game of numbers.
Yeah.
So the more numbers you have on your side, the better.
Yeah,
and with the girls being as fragmented as they are, it could be easy pickings. Heather gains immunity by helping Chef find some of the campers.
Again.
Shauna gains immunity by managing to avoid capture and making it to home base.
Yeah. But yeah, so Bridget is the one ends up getting eliminated in this episode and tries to kiss Jeff, but her smell still stinks, so he runs away.
Yeah, they make up for it later.
So yeah, take your surfboard, Bridget, and never return to the island.
Well, she does return to the island for a cameo, but again, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. So yeah, Bridget was honestly one of my favorites in the series. Just one of these cheery surfer style girl characters.
Yeah, I think Bridget was probably one of my. If I had to make like like a ranking of all the contestants, like Bridget would definitely be, I'd say at the very least in the top half.
Yeah, and of course we all know who our favourites would be: Katie and Sadie.
Yeah. But as much as we joke about comparing Bridget to Tori, I do think there is some kind of truth to that, because they are both the most emotionally mature
Yeah,
girls. Like along or just like emotionally mature people out of the entire group. They're very in tune with their emotions. They're very friendly. They both love surfing.
yeah. The only thing that's missing is for Jeff to have black hair. Because if he had,
and for the both of them being to be ninjas.
yeah, because if Jeff had black hair, then it would be like, there she is. Because Blake has black hair, Jeff has black hair.
Mm-hmm. But then we get to episode 18. That's Off the Chain. Where the challenge is building your own
building the bikes. It's building the bikes. Yes, yes. And then they have to race them across a dangerous motor course with mines, and nobody's allowed to ride their own bikes. They have to ride everyone else's. So we have I think Owen made the sit down one, didn't he?
Yeah, Owen made the one. Yeah, Owen made the sit down one. Duncan made the closest thing to a motorcycle, which instead of having pedals, he instead had a hood ornament where you rev up like a lawnmower.
And then didn't Lindsay have the unicorn?
Yep. She had the Sally Sunshine. And Jeff had Bridget.
Yeah. And then Heather was just like, yeah, I'm going to make someone else make my bike for me.
Yep.
And Jeff still is missing Bridget, so he's like, I'm just going to make this bike and slap a picture of Bridget on it.
Mm-hmm. Also, LaShawn and Izzy aren't even in this episode because they went on a bit of a joyride.
Yeah.
Joy for Izzy, not so much for LaShawna.
No, because LaShawna was just like, how do you break on this?
And in the ride for invincibility, it was, I believe, Heather, Lindsay, Duncan, and Owen. Where Duncan and Owen wiped out, and Heather was the first to cross.
So she once again gets invincibility.
Yep. And by the power of loopholes, Lindsay is eliminated.
Yep.
But not before letting Heather have it.
In probably one of the most out of character but most satisfying rants in the series.
And I think it's totally in character for Lindsay.
Really?
Again, we get to that later.
Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah, Lindsay as a character. What do I think about her?
I think she's another character I'd probably throw in my top half.
You know what? Yeah, I probably would too. I'm kind of in two minds about her because on one hand, you just can't help but laugh at how dumb she is sometimes. But on the other hand, you just can't help but get frustrated about how dumb she can be at sometimes.
Yeah, and her stupidity is both her greatest strength and her weakness. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. This
This is easily one of like in almost every season Lindsay's in, she's been like a decently strong force. And I think this is probably her second strongest showing behind action. Again,
Okay,
we'll get to that.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But now on to episode 19, Hook, Line, and Screamer. Basically, the horror-themed episode with a psycho killer.
Yep, with everybody having to watch a scary movie and then survive a scary movie, as Chef chases them around wearing a hockey mask, wielding a chainsaw and a hook.
So he was basically Jason 40s, Leatherface, and that has to be one with a hook.
I
And
don't think there is like a horror icon with a hook hand.
let me
Feel free to correct us in the comments.
horror icon with hook hand. Oh, there is. The Candyman. The Candy. Wait, is it the Candyman? Does the Candyman use a hook? Use hook. Yeah, it's the Candyman. So, okay. So, we've lost Tyler. He's been kicked out. So I'll keep it going. So yeah, just bear with me. So yeah, we have basically. I think Tyler has been logged offline. Will you be back in? So yeah, I guess I'll do this one for now while Tyler gets back into the stream. So yeah, basically in he's coming back. Yeah. So yeah, we have in this episode the cat. So we have Chef dressed up as Jason Voorhees, Leatherface, and the Candyman because he has the hockey mask, the claw hand, and the chainsaw, and every he got booted. So I'll link him again. So yeah. So yeah, all the characters have to go around and avoid him, and DJ being the one to get eliminated in this episode, which the DJ was one of the more lovable characters of the series. So yeah, welcome back, Tyler.
Thank you. Apologies for that. I don't know why, but it like booted me out.
It seems like every time we're online, you get booted out like once or twice.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was still on the episode. So yeah, Chef is picking them off one by one, but unaware to everyone, there is the real psycho killer with the chainsaw, hook hand, and hockey mask on the island. Who Gwen is the only one to come in contact with him, and she thinks it's all a prank by Chef and Chris until they actually are like, no, that he's the real killer. And then she starts beating him up, and he's like, ow, why did you do that? I'm out of here.
Yeah. Fun fact, that the psycho killer was voiced by the same person who voiced both Owen and Trent.
Which I've got to say, this is the only win for Chris. The only win for Chris where he's like, holy crap, I need to save this person because this is not part of the script.
Actually, he gets one more.
Nope, he never gets any more. I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe Chris has any shred of humanity, except for this one time.
Well, you say it with me, everybody.
We'll get to it.
As for highlights from the fake psycho killer, Izzy and Owen get caught making out in the woods until Owen pushes Izzy into the psycho killer. DJ takes Jeff for when he goes to the bathroom, but DJ gets scared by Heather shaving her legs, which not that scary. Like, bro, like, chill out.
Yeah, chill out, chill out.
And it does make for a funny moment, as he's the only person not to be scared by the psycho killer. And Jeff gets lured away because he thinks there's an ice cream truck until Chef just strolls behind him, tapping on his shoulder.
Yeah, yeah.
Then we have
oh,
Lashana facing the psycho killer 1v1 and manages to score a plate of brownies.
which, hey, I'll take the plate of brownies, Lashana.
Me too. We also get Heather being scared in the shower, which is like rule 3 of a horror movie: never shower alone.
Yes, especially when you're in the woods.
How are you gonna shower in the woods?
Well, hey, put rain in a bag, poke the bag with a fork, and there you go. It sprays out as a shower.
Okay. And then Duncan also goes head to head against the psycho killer and actually wins.
Which I guess makes sense considering he's a juvie, so I guess he has experience beating up people.
Yep. And then, like with Luke said, Gwen takes on a real psycho killer and wins immunity, while DJ gets the boot.
Because he didn't go. He was too much of a coward.
Yep. Which honestly, I think that kind of you'll see this as a trend, but like DJ I think is a very underrated player.
Yes. Yeah.
Because, like, if he didn't get eliminated here, I think he could have gone all the way.
Oh, absolutely, he could have gone all the way. He's too precious. DJ is too precious.
Yeah. But I would definitely put DJ in my top 5 of this cast.
Absolutely, 100%.
Next, episode 20, Wawanakwa Gone Wild.
I thought it already gone wild.
It's going wilder. In this challenge, the final 7 have to bag an animal. First one to do so wins invincibility in the vote and gets a meal of all their favorite foods, while anybody not having an animal has to clean the communal bathroom.
And so in this episode, Heather gets the short end of the stick
and has to catch a bear.
Yeah, and has to catch the bear. So it's like, oh yes, oh yes.
Gwen has to catch a duck, which she does very successfully with duck bait, and somehow the duck she catches is a distant cousin of the Roadrunner.
Somehow.
Yeah. We see Duncan going after a raccoon, which a bunch of raccoons then form like Raccoon Voltron.
Which yeah, Duncan, you should be aware about raccoons. They're vicious. I mean, one bit off someone's penis one time. I'm not even joking. God. I'm not even joking. That legitimately did happen, Tyler.
Damn! I felt that.
I'll have to get the video up. I'll show you when we finish this.
But we have Lashana trying to catch a frog with cheese. Don't know why she thought that would work. Like, since when do frogs and cheese have any correlation?
I have no idea.
And we see Jeff trying to bag some beavers. So instead of bagging up a beaver, he decides to get an entire dam full of beavers. Owen spends the episode trying to catch a chipmunk as he narrates his experience as the naturalist.
Yeah, I found the clip of what happened with that guy. Yeah.
And Izzy tries to catch a deer, and gets a trank gun and shoots everything but a deer. She shoots Chef. She shoots a match. She shoots reject from My Little Pony, and more importantly, she tranks Heather, thinking she was a deer. Because Heather dressed up as a deer to try and catch a bear. And Heather ends up having to be the one to clean the communal toilets.
Which is so satisfying.
And by the time of the bonfire ceremony, Izzy is the one who goes home with a smoke bomb. Fun fact, Izzy is one of 4 contestants to never board the boat of losers.
Really?
Another one being Cody, and the other 2 being the final 2. But I said before that I liked Izzy, and Izzy had some of her best moments. I forgot to mention when we're talking about hide and be sneaky. Her showdown with Chef, I think it's one of her best moments.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Also, I really like the relationship between her and Owen. I don't know what it is about oddball couples that just resonates with me.
Yeah.
And again, we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that later, potentially, possibly.
Next episode, Tried by Triarm Triathlon. Which is truly trying for alliteration.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
But it involves the final 6 being
split into pairs, and
being split into pairs and handcuffed.
Yeah, and competing various challenges that they have to work together in. So we have the odd couple of Heather and Owen together.
We have Duncan's brashness and Lashana's inability to take people's shit, as well as chill party guy Jeff with a rough around the edges goth girl Gwen.
Mm-hmm. So the first challenge in this episode is the eating challenge, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an eating challenge which Heather and Owen ace immediately followed by Heather being bombarded with Owen's flatulence.
Yeah, but I think it's the only time. I would say it's probably one of the only times when Heather has been legitimately nice to Owen. Which I don't know how to feel about that. Like Heather being nice. I don't know how to feel about that.
She did hug DJ before he left.
Oh, as well. Oh, stop making Heather nice. Heather is not nice.
Spoiler alert, Heather and DJ will continue to interact with each other.
No!
Anyways, the main focus of this episode is basically Gwen not wanting anything to do with Jeff because she thinks he's annoying and would probably doesn't like her. And Jeff's just being a chill guy.
Yeah. So Gwen, I like you, but at the same time, just get out of your emo phase.
Yeah, like put down the mic hem and just actually not mic hem. Put down the 3 doors down and relax.
Yeah.
It's after Gwen acts. It's after Gwen
knocks his camera.
Yeah, knocks his camera into the lake, where they truly bond, and Gwen expresses how she wishes she can be like a girly girl who gets a sugar high and gets along with everybody, and not having to be the loner who people are afraid of. And revealing that.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Which you can, Gwen. You just have to get out of that emo phase.
Arguably, she does that without leaving the emo phase.
Huh, okay.
And after this episode, she gets a lot more personable. And especially with Jeff. And I really like their relationship. Like, they make for a really good dynamic to watch. Because they feel like the most unlikely of duos coming together. I'm always there for like the 2 people you never expect to get along, and they end up getting along.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for that. But Gwen and Jeff win the second portion of the challenge, which involves taking a trip to Boney Island and returning a piece of the cursed idol.
Which good. Well, here's the thing. Did we ever find out what the curse actually was?
It's hinted at that the curse caused the Gophers to go under 3-episode losing streak.
Right.
Like from up the creek to if you can't take the heat, the Gophers went to the elimination ceremony. But like,
oh, go ahead.
But like, I feel like the only time where but I don't think like the curse was really applicable for the Gophers' losses.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this episode, something unexpected happens. Nobody wins.
Yep, nobody gets immunity. Everybody is up for grabs.
Which you'd think at this point Heather would be the one to go. At this point.
Nope. But no, it's Jeff.
It's Jeff
because he's too nice.
I swear, no, that has to be the curse. That Heather has to make it as far as possible. That's probably what the curse actually is. Because if anything, Heather should have been eliminated ages ago.
Yeah, probably. But as you remember, if you can't take the heat, Lashana asked the curse to hit Heather upside the head, and we'll get to that. But
we will.
Jeff was viewed as a threat, as if the winner was decided by a vote, then everybody would lose to Jeff.
Yeah, probably.
But Jeff does leave after taking a photo with Gwen, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
So again, like I think like a lot of like the post merge contestants are like characters I'd probably put in like if I had to rate the entire Gen 1 cast, like a lot of them would probably be at least in the top half, and like Jeff would probably be another one I put in the top 10.
I don't think I would put him in my top 10, but I don't know. Maybe I might need to watch. Maybe after we've watched Action and World Tour, I might come around to him more. But there's
Yeah.
just something that's not there. There's something that isn't there that's not making me click with him.
Yeah. Then we get to episode 22, How to Capture, which is.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say which reveals that the losers camp is actually better than the actual island itself.
Yep. Because the losers are staying at a nice resort, which honestly not too unbelievable, because I remember reading somewhere on an interview, like an art, like seeing somewhere on Hell's Kitchen, eliminated contestants don't go home immediately. Instead, they go to a nice resort with like a pool and stuff, to where they can like relax and receive psychiatric help.
You know what? I can actually honestly believe that.
Because at the end of the day, the stresses of reality TV are very taxing on the mind.
Yeah, because people are going to know about what you've done, especially someone like. Okay, I honestly want to know how on earth. Just to go off on a side tangent here. How on earth Jason Underwood can live with himself after being in season 4 of Hell's Kitchen?
I guess he can live with. I don't know. Maybe just because the guy is very stuck in his ways, which is a very common thing with people of his thought group.
Especially when considering, I honestly want to know: has his wife seen the sexist comments that he's been saying?
Possibly, and either she's just holding her tongue or she doesn't care.
Because I want to say, if I was his wife, I'd be like, okay, you change your ways, or we're getting a divorce. But yeah, back to Total Giant.
People in our audience, watch Hell's Kitchen season 4. You'll see what we're talking about. Anyways,
so we have in this episode where Jeff and Bridget finally get to be together again.
Same with Lindsay and Tyler.
Yep. And of course,
to mention the whole Lindsay and Tyler relationship.
Oh yeah, we didn't, but we'll mention it here. And of course, yeah, very, very cute. And of course, we have to be reunited with our favorite duo in the entire series, Katie and Sadie.
Yep. And we have to hear them. Honestly, they're more tolerable here when like they're not just stuck with each other, being like, "Oh my god, look at this thing! Oh my god!" Yee!
Yeah.
And like they're bouncing off the dry humor of Noah and the chill vibes of Trent. Like,
but of course, in this episode, since there's no challenge in this episode, is there?
No.
No.
The final 5 are taking a day off.
Which, thank God, they needed a day off. But yeah, but as if we couldn't hate Sadie and Katie even more, because of them, LaShawna gets eliminated, which is a crime against humanity.
Believe me, not going to be the first. We'll get to it.
Because
But
Chris,
Lashana was a very strong competitor this season.
oh, absolutely, she was. I would say she's probably in my top 5 as well.
Oh, she's absolutely in my top 5. Oh, boy, you keep going. I got a barking dog.
Okay, all right. So yeah, because Chris makes it where the contestants have to, well, the former contestants, the losers, as he puts it. But honestly, if I was in Total Drama and in that, well, I'd much rather be a loser than be stuck on the island. At least I get to be in that nice resort. But yeah, so he makes it so like, okay, you have to say the name of who you want to vote, but you can't say it's like, oh yeah, I'm sure Lashana, like, because as soon as you say the name, he's like, bing, you voted for her, bing, you voted for her, bing, you voted for them. So that's why Lashana gets eliminated, because they keep saying her name when they don't actually mean to say it. So yeah, as we said, Lashana, very strong in this season. Really well done as a character, and hope she gets farther in Total Drama action.
Next episode, Camp Castaways.
Which,
another kind of filler-ish episode, but it's more so like the fun kind of filler.
yeah, it's more so the fun kind of filler, because the only character that gets eliminated here is a brand new character, Mr. Coconut.
The best character.
He's not the best character, Tyler. He is not. You're joking. He's only the best character. He's only the best character because he talks with his friend, creator, father figure, Owen.
Yep. And
Which,
so the whole.
oh, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Okay. So basically, the whole like, the focus of the episode is the final four thinking they have drifted away because of a rainstorm, and thinking they're on a deserted island. So, and they all deal with it in different ways. Heather is a non-believer and thinks it's some elaborate prank. Duncan thinks that production will come and save them, so just stay where they are. Stay where they are. And Gwen thinks that the producers think they're dead, so they have to build a raft to get back to camp. While Owen just goes crazy and grows a beard in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, which, by the way, that is probably my favorite point of the episode. Like, how does Owen grow that big golden bushy beard of his?
I don't know. Maybe the crazies accelerated the growth.
Yeah, maybe.
And we also see all the contestants confess their sins. Owen confesses his sins in the confessional, while Duncan, Heather, and Gwen do it in a treehouse.
Yeah, while they're being interrogated by a snake later on.
Yep. And they soon find out that they got deserted just on the other side of the island.
Yeah, so it's on the same island, but they're just on the other side, far away from the campsite. Where the producers are. The secret hideaway of the producers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but in this episode, there is, again, like that other episode, there is no elimination except for Mr. Coconut.
And I think this is as good of a time as any to talk about Chris and Chef. So, Luke, thoughts on Chris and Chef?
There we go. That's my thought. Just fuck Chris. Chef is okay, but Chris, you are just the worst. The absolute worst. You deserve to be in a mental institution. You are basically like Rimmer from Red Dwarf if Rimmer never had the character growth that he did.
So Rimmer would become a sleazy, narcissistic sociopath.
Basically, yeah. I mean, Rimmer is sleazy and a coward, and at times can be seen as unapologetically cruel. But that's all due to his hellish upbringing. Whereas Chris has no excuse for doing this. He is just like in it for himself. Puts these people through torment, which I've got to say right now, people complain about Revenge of the Iron having a new cast. Honestly, after 3 seasons of Chris's crap, I think anybody would be like, "Yeah, I'm done with this."
Well, I'll say this about. I think Chris and Chef are fantastic additions. Yeah, Chris is sleazy and like as a person, I don't like Chris, but as a character, I think he's fantastic. He's purposefully sleazy. He's narcissistic. Cares only about himself. Willing to cut corners, and it's supposed to be like a parody of reality TV hosts. Hence his resemblance to Survivor's host Jeff Probst. And I think Chef bounces off of Chris wonderfully. And in terms of their chemistry, this is only the beginning.
Oh my
But
god!
if you want to talk about Chris's cruelty, we'll get to that.
Oh god! Oh god!
Anyways, episode 24. Are we there, Yeti?
Nope,
Yes,
we're not.
yes, we are. Actually.
Nope, we're not. Because at the beginning of this episode, we have Chef splitting Mr. Coconut in half with a knife.
Actually, it's a cleaver, but
yeah, whatever.
Damn.
So yeah, they wake up in the middle of the wilderness, the campers, and they have to race back to camp and tag a totem pole.
Mm-hmm. Split into pairs based on gender.
Yeah, and Chef is taking over as the host once again.
Because Chris had to host an award show, apparently. Why would they do that in the middle of shooting the show, though?
I have no idea.
Like
yeah, I have no idea. But yeah, see, this is why I don't hate Chef as much as I hate Chris, because his challenges are at least reasonable.
But though Chef does warn about Sasquatch and Aqua, who makes a return after being mauled by Eva. Or maybe it's like a same member of the species.
Yeah.
But we do see Heather and Gwen somewhat bond in a sense.
I know, it's crazy. It is crazy. The world went topsy-turvy here.
Yeah. And also Duncan and Owen bond through the power of flatulence.
It's always the flatulence with Owen. It's always the flatulence.
Yep, always the farting. You convinced the writers would have a thing for farting, which there might be more credence to that than you would think.
I am going to bring up a little thing right here. If I could get to it. Yeah, here we go. I know your meme with all of this. So just bear with me. There we go. Share screen. Yeah, here we go. Yep, that just about sums it up.
The writers barely just. Yeah, that has more credence than you think. We'll get to it.
Oh no. So yeah, in this episode, Duncan's the one that gets eliminated.
Yep, and thoughts on Duncan? I think either between this or Action is probably his strongest showing, in my opinion.
Yeah, Duncan, I like as a character. I love just how I love just how contrast is. Like, I want to be a villain, but gosh darn it, he's too nice to be a villain sometimes.
Yeah, and like he's even at odds with other villains like Heather.
Yeah,
We see him continue to be at odds with other villains. Uh, yeah, it's between this and Action for Duncan's strongest showing, but I I thought this was like his bonding with Gwen over horror movies, his relationship with Courtney, his bond with Jeff and DJ, his rivalry with Harold, which will only be expanded upon more in Action to become less one-sided. But yeah, like Duncan left on a pretty good note here.
yeah.
Now, episode 25, my favorite episode of the season. I, Triple Dog, dare you.
Which was just the episode that just shot on Heather the most, which was just oh, 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 oh. Okay, no. I think I left the orgasm to the very last episode. Really, point. We'll get to it. You know the moment I'm talking about, Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
But I triple dog dare you. Yeah, I can see why this is your favorite episode. So basically, it's basically the eliminate contestants, write down what they want the three finalists to do, and they have to do it, and they can either dare someone else to do it or just skip over it. And it's just Owen and Gwen forming an alliance to take down Heather.
yep, after Owen just slammed through every dare he's given, like he rechews a wad of Harold's gum, he gives a bear a purple nurple, he eats dog food, and like at a certain point, Owen has racked up 20 freebies, probably enough to get him through the rest of the game.
Yeah, probably, but the pit. Okay, that was pretty disgusting, but I think Gwen had the worst one.
Oh yeah, drinking powdered fruit punch from the toilet.
Yeah, which you want to know why it's how it's the worst one? It's the only one that nearly made me physically sick.
Yeah. Thankfully, I have a strong stomach.
Yeah. But yeah, I literally threw up on my mouth and I was like, oh my god, I've got to get this somehow. That's how disgusting it was. This is and of course, sweet satisfaction. Heather has to lose all her hair and the competition. She gets eliminated in this episode. I rejoice. Celebrate good times. Fuck Heather.
May I add, eliminated on a technicality.
Oh, it's still an elimination, Tyler, so I can just rejoice. So, Heather, I hate you just as much as Chris.
Okay. But as for my thoughts on Heather, while at times it can be rather inconsistent in her writing, I do think she's a strong antagonistic presence. And I think that her showing in Island will continue to set up Heather for the rest of the season, and in my opinion, makes her the most developed character out of the entire Gen 1 cast.
What?
We'll get to it.
What?
We'll get to it.
Don't. That's not true. That's impossible.
Finale time.
Yeah, finale time. So, it's a race. It's a race all the way to the end with Owen and Gwen.
Yep, with all the eliminated contestants coming back to cheer for one of their finalists.
which so Owen, if he wins the 100,000, he will throw everyone a lavish party. Whereas if Gwen wins the 100,000, what was it again?
She would split her winnings with Owen, and then travel and pursue college.
Which is very noble, I will say that.
Yeah, and plus with the 50 grand that Owen does get from Gwen, he'd probably throw a party either way.
Yeah, he could throw a party if he really wanted to. So yeah, this episode has two endings, doesn't it?
Yeah. From this season all the way to the redonkulous race, there are two endings for each season, depending on where in the world you lived. And where I lived, and on the channels I had, I got the ending where Owen wins.
Which you must have been so happy about.
Oh, absolutely! I was over the fucking moon when I saw Owen win. And a little brief tangent on Owen. Owen is my favorite character in the entire franchise. Like there's just something like at the young age of 5 to 6, something about Owen resonated with me in my soul. Because growing up, I was a very rotund child, and I was always made fun of for being fat. But then I see Owen, who is fat, but he never lets that weigh him down. He always finds some way to make a positive spin on things, and that really resonated with me. It's why I love watching Owen. It's why I love seeing him come out on top. It's why I loved seeing the ending where Owen wins.
Okay, fair enough. I do like Gwen and Owen, but I feel like Owen for me because of because of how much he does the farting, that kind of pulls him back down to being below Gwen for me. Because Gwen, I do like for just how unapologetically honest she is all the time. It's just like she says everything I want a character like her to say.
Mm-hmm. And I do think, like, in a narrative sense, it does make more sense for Gwen to win. Though from a personal sense, I prefer Owen. It
Fair
makes
enough.
more narrative sense for Gwen, who initially didn't even want to be here to weather the storm, come out on top, win $100,000.
Or so they think.
Yep, because now we're getting into the end of season special. Total drama
Island. Where Chris has one final challenge for everyone. Where Owen's like, okay, I'm gonna give up my my $100,000 for the chance to get $1 million.
Yep. And while Owen was more willing, if you got the Gwen version, then she would say, no, I'm keeping my 100 grand. But then Chris pulls out the contract and says, if we offer a higher price, you got to compete for it. So get going. And we see.
Actually, you would think that is Chris just making up this contract as he goes along?
Probably.
Yeah.
We see the entire cast split off into different groups. We see Jeff and Bridget go together and more or less just make out the entire time. Which is foreshadowing. We'll get to that. We see Katie and Sadie team up with Justin, who has a speaking role this time. Shocker. He's kind of like the...
Justin does not have a speaking role. I refuse to believe that was Justin talking. It was a ventriloquist dummy.
And Justin kind of plays the villain, using his good looks to get ahead.
Is that foreshadowing to something coming up in a late season?
Well, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Unfortunately, something we'll not get to is Katie and Sadie, because Island is the one and only season they compete in.
Thank God. Thank freaking God.
We also see Duncan and Courtney pair up, as they are still a couple, and we see Courtney be a lot more competitive and aggressive. And we see her leave Duncan behind after he twists his ankle and nearly kill multiple people. Again, we'll get to that. But speaking of those 4 people she nearly killed, Owen, DJ, Tyler, and Cody. Which, admittedly, a very unexpected quartet. But I do like their chemistry here. And I think one of the best scenes is where they're confronting Justin to have him hand over the case, and he's like, no. They're like, what do we do now? And then Cody just is like, look, the paparazzi! And then they manage to nab the case. We see Lashana, Trent, and Gwen team up. And we see Heather get left behind by Lindsay and Beth in favor of Ezekiel. And you gotta admit, Ezekiel was a lot less sexist and a lot better in this episode than he was in his previous outings.
Yeah, he was, but still. Ezekiel.
I will admit, I don't know what their metric is for a small country. But France is not a small country.
Pardon?
France is not a small country.
Yeah. Let me find. I know exactly the metric system for a small country. Vatican City.
Vatican City?
Yeah, Vatican City. People often don't realize that Vatican City in Rome is actually a country.
So she could become the Pope or Popess.
I guess.
All hail Popess Lindsay.
But yeah, why France? I mean, you've got Vatican City, you've got Luxembourg, which is a small country because Luxembourg is the capital of Luxembourg.
Well, I don't know. Maybe because France is like fashion capital, the fashion country. Yeah, very ironic that she mentions France. We'll get to that.
Yeah, Belgium and the Netherlands are smaller than France.
But yeah, well, we also see Noah, Izzy, and Eva team up, and they are the funniest team here.
Yeah, they are.
And it's also here where Izzy decides to go by the name Kaleidoscope, E-scope for short.
Why? Why, Izzy?
Kaleidoscope.
No, it's Izzy.
It's Kaleidoscope, Danny.
I am not calling Izzy Kaleidoscope.
Well, that sucks for you, and we'll get to that.
Oh no, no.
And also, it just shows the latent potential here of Noah and his dry, sarcastic humor that he'll later tap into in World Tour and the Redonkulous Race.
Wait, so Noah comes back for the Redonkulous Race?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. But so in terms of what happens at the end of this episode, the briefcase gets eaten by a shark.
And 14 of the 22 campers get to come back for season 2.
Which don't include Sadie and Katie.
Or Eva.
Oh, Eva.
Or Courtney.
You know what? I think in Total Drama Action.
What's that?
Was it Courtney or Corey you said?
Courtney.
Yeah, I think Courtney should have been in Total Drama Action.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah. So, yeah, and that is the entire season. So, overall, like I said, very interesting to see this kind of take on a reality show. My only problem with it as a season is that, like we said, I feel like the main problem is that there were many characters.
Yeah, there were a lot of characters, and some of them just, because of the nature of a reality show, they don't get enough time to be fully fleshed out.
Yeah, because it's like, how many campers did we have in total this season?
22.
Yeah, that is way too much. Like, I would have, I think, cut out about 8 of them, might make it 16. And I think I think 16 would have been a good number to have rather than 22.
Funny you mention that, because that's how many campers are in the reboots.
Oh, good. Thank God for that. Like, because then we could have avoided the filler episodes. Also, highest song gets it. We're literally just about to finish the video. But thank you for dropping by. So yeah, I'll say that. I'll say that. So too many characters, but it was still pleasant journey to go on, and I'm looking forward to Total Drama Action. So final thoughts for you, Tyler.
Final thoughts. A lot of people put this season in like the higher echelons of the Total Drama seasons, and they have a point. This is a fantastic season. I think the characters are on point. The challenges are awesome, and just the campy environment of it all really kind of sells on that hint of realism that is enough to not make it over the top cartoony, but it's just jokey enough to where it can laugh at itself. I think the worst part about this season is the middle. Like, I'd say around extreme torture to That's Off the Chain does the season really drag.
Yeah. I would agree with that, but the final stretch of it, like with Heather's elimination, Owen and Gwen's challenge, and the battle for the briefcase, I feel like more than makes up for it.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah. So on that note, we'll call it time here because we have been talking for 3 hours 20 minutes now, and we will see you again for season 2 of Total Drama, titled Total Drama Action. So peace out.
Peace.